Ghostly Talk.
Broadcasting from the world-famous Haunted Winery here in Warren, Michigan, this is Ghostly Talk on August 19th, 2007.
Ghostly Talk is independently produced every Sunday night from 6 p.m. till 9 p.m. Eastern Time. For more information, go to www.ghostlytalk.com.
On the phone as we speak, Topher Young from Penn State PRS is here to give us another Unifcon update. Ryan Buell will also be joining us later from Penn State PRS.
Excellent.
Dr. Rita Louise drops us in for a visit later on. Later we'll be Chasing the Shadows with Timothy Schultz. Shut up, Doug.
Drops us in.
And finally,
drop us in something.
Sweet.
Jackie Gardner.
Totally
Learn
right.
about ghosts.
Only the corrupt are listened to now. I need to go someplace where I can think.
We demand fair and more accurate, balanced news coverage. Real people with real lives in your dramas and on your talk shows. And if we don't get it, we'll make it ourselves. Don't hate the media, become the media.
well, if that's any indication of how the rest of the show is going to go tonight.
It'll be fun.
I think we're going to take a script rearranger program, and we're going to pump all your stuff into the...
What'd I do wrong?
And then we're going to just rearrange it and just totally mess it up.
Yeah,
I think that's great.
that'll add to the spontaneity and reality of the show.
You said...
What'd I do wrong?
Dr. Rita Louise is
Gonna
going
drop
to
us in.
drop us in.
Did I totally
instead
flub
of
that word?
Drop into us or drop in on us.
Well, you know,
or whatever.
I get flustered really easy.
Yeah, I know, and I was making faces at
No,
you
it's
during
all
the
good. It's
intro.
cool.
but-
I think our listening audience and or lack of will got the point.
That was a fun intro.
No, that was fun.
intro.
It's always cool. This is Ghostly Talk. I'm Scott L.
And I'm Doug.
And I'm Bonnie.
A lot going on this week. Obviously, we do have Topher Young.
Voices in the background. I know.
That's
I
the
like
phone
that.
line. That's the phone line. Topher is waiting patiently on mute.
Yes.
as he's like losing
I don't
his
know
mind.
why
probably.
he continues to deal with us, really.
I don't know why either. A lot going on tonight, like I said.
Well, I know why we keep bothering him.
Why is
we
that?
keep bothering him because coming up in October is, of course,
Unifcon.
Unifcon.
Yes.
One of the it's the longest event we will have attended once we've been there.
It's gonna
and it's just packed from the second you get there till you leave.
Pretty
Until
much, yeah.
Either leave screaming or happy, one of the two.
Or both.
Or both. I'm screaming with happiness. It's packed full of events and full of people and the guests, the attendees, just everyone's going to be there, including me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be totally a wild, like, long weekend.
It's gonna be for the Ghostly Talk people. If anybody's ever seen us at conferences, it's gonna be a very enduring weekend. I think.
Yes,
it'll be a lot. It's gonna take a lot of stamina to get through that weekend.
Yes,
Now,
Bonnie is going to have to bring extra alcohol or drugs or something. What are those things that for the pain from the would you have an appendix out?
Gallbladder.
From your gallbladder. If you've got any
you
extras,
mean my
bring
Vicodin
'em.
and my
Bring them
muscle
because you might
relaxers?
need them by the end of that weekend.
Oh,
That's all I'm
excellent.
saying.
Drugs.
That's all I'm saying.
Good drugs.
Yeah, because
We're for the
be
kids,
a long
folks.
Weekend. She has
Yes,
to put
we're for the kids.
She has to put up with us for what 4 days?
Yeah.
Okay, I've had to
That's
put
gonna
up
be
with
a
you
tough-
guys all year. I deserve a medal.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Topher Young has joined us tonight. Now, Ryan Buell is going to be here in a few minutes. We had Ryan Buell slated for this, but he had to take care of something real quick. Topher, are you there?
I am here, guys. How you doing?
Real good.
Back.
And like we said, Ryan will be joining us here in a few short minutes. But in the meantime, it's up to you to entertain us, Topher.
Yes. We like
Now
this.
dance.
Awesome.
Any new developments with UNIVCON?
Well, like Ryan's going to be coming out a little bit later to talk about one of the newest developments, and that's Father LeBar and Lorraine Warren's speech.
Amazing.
So pretty much what I'm going to kind of do is just kind of rehash for people exactly what's going on at the conference, for those that may have just be catching it now.
Yeah, for sure.
UNIVCON is a 4-day conference. It's going to be held at Penn State University. It's one of the only conferences held at a university that I know of anyways. It might be the only conference held at a university, but I don't think anyone else has really made that announcement before. So
Well, it's the only one
I
that
don't know if it
know
actually
of.
is. It's the only one I know of. There's numerous events that's going to be happening throughout the entire conference. Obviously, the lectures, the tentpole speakers that we have. There'll be workshops, ghost hunts, ghost tours. This year, we're having some media presentations from some major television networks happening. So we got a whole weekend, and there's going to be a lot more. Like you said, you won't need to bring any alcohol, and there's going to be plenty of there.
It is a university after all.
Well, yeah. 2 plus 2. I mean, come on.
It's like college town. There's a bar in every street corner.
Exactly. Bar and pizza. There you go.
You're not even kidding. But there's going to be a lot of stuff going on. This year we have a lot of guest speakers coming. We, for the first time ever, UNIVCON is as an official host of the conference, and he's going to be coming on your show sometime in the next couple weeks or so.
Yes, he is.
But this year we got our good friend Chip Coffey, who will be hosting UNIVCON. Mm-hmm. And he's also going to be opening the opening ceremony, which is going to be held on Friday as well. So Chip Coffey, we're excited to have him. He's a great guy. He's funny. He's just cool to hang out with. So I'm sure many of your listeners will actually get to experience Chip. When he comes on your
We
show.
mentioned on a previous show about Chip that like he's one of those people we look up to and adore, but he just never has graced the hallowed halls of Ghostly Talk yet. And you guys were nice enough to take care of that for us, so thank you.
That's no problem. I'm sure you guys will enjoy Chip as much as we have. I mean, he's a great guy. But we also got, like I said, we got some great speakers coming along this year. We got Doug Bradley, who you guys are going to have on the show as well. Mm-hmm. Who's actually you guys are sponsor. You guys are sponsoring Doug Bradley's event, so there'll be a lot of ghostly talk around Doug Bradley this year. So
I'm still
if anyone
drooling.
doesn't know who Doug Bradley is, Doug Bradley is the pinhead from Clive Barker's Hellraiser.
All of them.
So, and from all of them. And
They
in
haven't
fact, I think
CGI'd him yet. He still plays the real character in all of the films, which I find so wonderful.
And from what I hear, there's actually a new one coming out that he's actually playing in as well.
Mm-hmm.
Did you, Scott? Just to, I know this may be a little off topic, but do you think he's read your fan fiction?
No, I'm going to make a copy of that and give it to him.
Yeah.
I
don't blame you.
I'm going to have to put that somewhere. I don't even think that's on the Ghostly Talk site, to tell you the truth.
I've read it. You know, what's interesting is Scott L. This absolutely, Topher, this absolutely falls directly into line because Scott L. is a huge fan of Hellraiser
Yep.
and the whole series, and then this opportunity, it just sort of happened, and I don't know how these things happen, but the universe somehow lines up, and we got this opportunity, and we are just so excited about it. Doug
really
Bradley,
excited.
Pinhead from Hellraiser, is going to be at.
He's going to be chained to us for the whole weekend.
So we're going to actually have to hand him some of Scott L's fan fiction.
Yeah, I got that bad with Hellraiser at one time that I became one of those people.
Yes.
One of those people you don't want to talk to.
He wrote Hellraiser fan fiction. Now, in Scott L's, of course, unique style, it turns out that it is absolutely, completely hilarious.
Sex all the way through.
Yeah, sex and women, and I think there was even some rap in it. It's really difficult to read.
It was a hip-hop oriented, it was an urban adventure.
Yes, an urban adventure. It was just incredible. So
Artistic,
we're gonna
yes.
We're going to have to get Doug Bradley to read that
and just laugh.
somehow.
Punch me in the face.
Yeah.
What have you done to my character? What's that, Topher?
I was to say, you never know. Maybe he'll read it out loud for Ghostly Talk.
Oh,
you never know.
Can you imagine if we recorded him reading that?
Again, it would be one of those few experiences that you'd have to chisel off my corpse a smile on my face. You know, I mean, no, we're really excited about that, and you know, we got to thank you guys over at UNIVCON that are working hard over there. You guys are the ones that arranged that and gave us that opportunity. That's where it came from. Ultimately, was you guys. So we thank you for giving us that opportunity, Topher.
No problem. We appreciate you guys helping us out as much as you have too. So we're more than happy to allow you guys to sponsor Doug Bradley, and it seems like it's a perfect fit. So
It's getting kind of creepy already.
Let's ask Doug that after the conference.
Yeah, exactly. We'll get his post-conference update.
We'll get
be
one.
He
weirded
may
out
have
yet.
restraining orders against all of us by the end of it.
We'll put him in one of them video booths, and he'll be like, "Oh my God, Scott, you wouldn't leave me alone the entire conference." And it's just going to be just incredible. The post-conference update.
What else do we have going on, Topher?
Well, we got Lorraine Warren as well as Father LeBar, who, like I said, Ryan's going to be talking about, because that's going to be like a very special presentation that we have going on. It's something I haven't really seen it before. I don't think anyone else has ever seen it before, but the two of them together are going to be speaking on Friday night.
Okay.
So, and like I said, Ryan's going to talk more about that. But we also have another very notable speaker who's pretty much coming out of retirement for possibly one of his last speaking engagements. He doesn't really do a whole lot of media. He doesn't do a whole lot of press. In fact, he's been in retirement since, I think, either the early 90s or the late 80s. But we have the author of Mothman Prophecies, John Keel, coming aboard with us.
Wow.
And he's going to be speaking on Saturday night.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a real honor to actually have him. And there's a lot of people we talk to, like, how did you get John Keel? And honestly, we don't know. But
Just tell him like I tell him, Topher, pimping ain't easy, all right?
Yeah.
That's all I got to say.
Well, you know what's interesting about that, Topher? One of the things that we do, and we have done for the past, 4 years or 3 years, is we go to the Mothman Festival in Point Pleasant, West Virginia.
It's a staple in our travel.
And it's a yearly trip for us, and we are going back, of course, again in September. So that's just before. It's just 3-4 weeks before.
Before UConn. Yeah.
We're going to be talking a lot about John Keel, because basically he wrote the book, right? I mean, you got a question about Mothman. John Keel wrote the book on Mothman, and so we talk about him a lot that weekend. So it's really interesting, because we're going to get the perspective from the attendees of the Mothman Festival, which is just an outdoor, open air, like incredible thing where just everybody can go, and everybody like seeks out people in official looking T-shirts, and they ask them questions. So I
like we know anything.
but we we entertain all the questions, and
For sure.
and a lot of things have to do with John Keel, and so I'm gonna make it a point to try and get all of the things that that their concerns are. John Keel, this, what about the book, what about this, and the movie, and how did it all work, and I'm gonna get people's concerns, and I'm gonna figure out the kinds of things that people want to know from John Keel, because he does not make public appearances anymore, like you said. So that's just incredible that I'll get to meet him just a month later or see him talk anyway, a month later at UNIVCon.
Yeah, for anyone that has ever read the book or is interested in the Mothman Prophecies, this is probably one of the most opportune times to actually see John Keel in person. Because honestly, you may never get to see him again in person. So he may do every once in a while. He may do a few media appearances here and there, but like I said, he doesn't do them.
Yeah.
So if anyone's ever wanted to meet him or is a big fan of the book, now's the time to go see him. So
Lorraine Warren also, speaking of Lorraine Warren, she was mentioned a couple of seconds ago.
Yeah.
I got to mention this just for our show. Lorraine's going to be on the show here this week. We're doing a very special show. We don't do too many of these anymore, but we're doing a special show this Wednesday, August 22nd. Lorraine Warren's going to be here at 7 p.m., and we're just going to hang out for an hour and talk to Lorraine about... I talked to her today, as a matter of fact, and she's like, let's just do it. Spontaneity is the best way to go. I'm like, sounds good to me, Lorraine. Let's just do it.
That sounds like our philosophy.
Yeah,
I'm like,
you're talking to the right people, Lorraine. Very cool. So, we're looking forward to having her on this show this week also, Topher.
Yeah, you got to love Lorraine. I got just last year. Very, very sweet. So
yes.
Hey, we lost you there just a little bit, Topher, but in the meantime, what I want to do is you want me to bring Ryan in right now?
Sure.
Let's see if he's available. We're gonna prank call Ryan. Topher, you're on the line.
This will be great.
We're gonna prank call Ryan.
All right.
All right, here we go. Drum roll, please. Anybody? Drum roll. Anything? Not that hard.
Ow.
Here comes Ryan. Come on, Ryan.
Hello.
Hi, Ryan.
Hey.
This is Scott from Ghostly Talk. How you doing?
Hey,
good. Hey, sorry about that. I had something I had to do really quickly at
Okay.
6, and I was like, oh, crap.
All right, no problem. You're on the air right now, just so you know. So I don't want to know exactly what you did.
I got punked.
Topher's also on the line too. Ryan, Topher, if it's cool with you, I want
Topher.
to turn things over to Ryan now, if that's cool, Topher. Is that all right?
It's no big deal at all.
All right, cool. Stay on the line. Don't leave us just yet, Topher. Okay?
I won't, I promise.
Just stay here, because if Ryan screws something up, you got to be here to correct him. Okay?
So, sure thing.
Ryan, the floor is yours.
We're talking about UnivCon 2007, of course. Oh, and by the way, the website, univcon.org.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You have to entertain us now, though, Ryan, so it's up to you now. Are you up to the challenge?
I think I can.
I got to tell you, I'm in a bad mood, so you better work it.
Okay, Ryan.
Okay, I'll try.
What's up, Ryan?
Well, I really wanted to just kind of talk about Lorraine Warren, because she's going to be on your show soon.
Good idea. Good idea.
She is going to be teaming up with Father James LaBarre, who has for many years was kind of the official spokesperson, or not official spokesperson, but was a spokesperson for the church regarding demonology and exorcism. He's a Roman Catholic priest in the New York Diocese. He does not do that many talks. He doesn't speak that often. But historically, he's coming to UnivCon not only to speak, but to team up with Lorraine Warren, who is also a very well-known person in the field of demonology. Her and her late husband, Ed, have done, I mean, you name it. They've done everything from the Enfield Poltergeist case to Amityville Horror. They have dozens of books. A lot of them turn into movies or other projects. And for the first time ever, Lorraine Warren and Father James LaBarre will be taking the floor. I think this will be a very historic talk for anyone who's interested in demonology. I think it'll be a very important talk because, as you guys probably know, doing a radio show and having guests on, demonology is a very big, hot topic these days.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
So I think that, for anyone who's really interested in demonology, this is kind of something that, there's demonologists who go and speak a lot, but this is something that's kind of rare. This is something that's kind of like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. They're going to speak this once. They're probably not going to speak together again. Father LaBarre has consulted on movies. He's been on 2020. He's been on other big media outlets, talking about this sort of thing. And as you guys probably know, or anyone who knows dealing with demonology, it's very hard to get the Roman Catholic Church to even talk about this sort of thing.
Oh, yeah.
But Father LaBarre has been one of the few people who actually is open to discussing it.
And that's fascinating because, just 2 or 3 years ago, the Catholic Church put out a press release. Mm-hmm. I mean, we get these press releases for some reason, and they put out a press release saying that they had started a class to train a new crop of exorcists.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that they felt that during this chaotic time in what will be the Earth's history, the world's history, that it was a necessary thing to do. So if they are thinking it's time to start, ramping up our defenses, right? Then evidently something's going on. So it'll be fascinating.
Well, see them bless this. No pun intended.
That was so bad, Scott.
I didn't really mean it like that. No, I mean they're literally blessing this finally now, and they're bringing this out. They're putting the information out for people finally.
And then to hear what Father LaBarre has to say, next month is just going to be, or I'm sorry, in October, 2 months from now, this is the time. This is so important to hear what Father LaBarre has to say, and paired up with, of course, one of my idols, Lorraine Warren. How can you go wrong?
Well, you know that there is an International Association for Exorcists, which was founded by Father Gabriel Amorth, who kind of was like the ringleader in trying to push for the Catholic Church to do more when it comes to exorcisms and demonology. And he's one of the people who kind of pushed for those classes you were just talking about. Yeah. And Father LaBarre actually spoke at this conference. So amongst all the other demonologists, exorcists, people who study this work, Father LaBarre is an important man.
There is an actual, I mean, you mentioned that there's an International Association of Exorcists, Ryan?
Yep.
Man, that's got to be, what a club meeting that's got to be.
I don't know. I was
just thinking about that. I mean, that's got to be one heck of a...
Do you bring chocolate chip cookies when you go? I mean
that's got to be really, that's got to be intense to go to something like that.
Tea and holy water all around. Wow. Yeah, that's got to be one heavy...
It's got to be heavy, man.
When we have meetings, we're like at the Coney. right?
Yeah.
Like,
chain
tearing
smoking,
it up.
drinking coffee, and making
Right.
fun of the waitresses, and yeah.
Now their meetings, though, completely the other side of the coin.
Yeah.
Just amazing.
They have theirs at an more upscale establishment, I imagine.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, that was just a heavy thought that when you mentioned that, Ryan, I was like, my
The
God,
implications
what a
of
club
that.
meeting that must be, and that's far from the treehouse, I think. You know,
Yes.
wow.
No, I absolutely agree, and I was actually shocked when I heard about that. And some people are just like, they have an association now. I mean, it's just, but I think it's important. I mean, I'm Roman Catholic. I think it's important for those that do the work. But to be honest, they don't really talk about what they do, so I don't know what they do at the meetings. But maybe Father LeBar will shed some light on that. But it's
Hopefully.
very fascinating. UNIFCON isn't a religious conference, so it's very fascinating that Father LeBar agreed to do this. He said that he felt like it was a good thing to do.
You guys
To talk to
always,
paranormal investigators.
yes, you guys always, throughout the history of UNIFCON, have always arranged just these things that just seem so interesting, yet they're also they're related, of course, always to the paranormal, but they're just so interesting. There's things that you just don't see anywhere else. Who dreams this stuff up? I mean, who says, you know what, we're going to get some demonologists in and maybe an exorcist or two? I mean, how do you dream this up? Because this is stuff that, first of all, it is in the media now. People are talking more and more about demonologists and demonology. And it is an important time. Even the church itself had classes 2 or 3 years ago about, getting exorcists. Mm-hmm. And so it's a topical thing, but how do you dream it up and say, I'm going to bring in Father LeBar and Lorraine Warren?
Well, when we put this conference together, we said, who would we love to see? And I always think of it kind of like, you've got all these people in the paranormal. Some of them don't like to talk to each other. Some of these people do other things they don't want to associate with others. So it's kind of always hard. But we've really tried, and some people don't want to go to places that other people are showing up, but we've really tried to create an environment where it's got a good enough reputation where people would at least consider it. And, we had heard of Father LeBar, and when we were doing our show for A&E, Paranormal State, we did a case with that involved some possible demonic haunting, and so we were kind of consulting with bringing in a demonologist or someone with the church. And when we were doing research, once again the name Father LeBar popped up, and I said, if he's so public about what he does or did, maybe he'd be interested in doing a conference. But my only worry was, we've got people talking about vampirism, we've got other things, and would he be comfortable around that?
Yeah.
But he's only coming to that day, and we're really respectful of what he's going to do. Again, we're not a Catholic conference or even a religious conference, but we think that he has a very important message, whatever that is. And I think that you don't have to be Catholic or even religious to understand or to appreciate what he and Lorraine have to say.
Right. I think that we're getting some static.
That's a brutal cell tone there.
But I do think that this does his message and of course Lorraine Warren's message are that they transcend. I mean, you don't have to be. All you have to do is be alive on the planet, and know and you get a sense that there are things out there that are not good for us. That there are, bizarre entities, perhaps non-human entities that affect people on a daily basis sometimes, and sometimes are targeted by them. You've got to know that this stuff goes on, and what better way to learn about that realm than to talk with Lorraine and Father.
They're as close to experts, I think, as you can say it.
Exactly.
I mean? Exactly.
They are. Out of that, they are the experts because they've got the experience of decades and decades of dealing with the beasties. Mm-hmm. So
no, and that. I was just talking to someone about that over the weekend. Actually, we were having a discussion about the paranormal, and this person was new to it. And that's one of the things. Whenever I talk to someone who's new to this stuff, I always say, you'll hear the word expert being thrown around. You'll hear the word expert being thrown around a lot.
A lot of people say they're experts, but very few people actually deserve the title. And Lorraine
and Ryan, we're talking about people. I think that like I said, they're as close to that title, I think, as you can actually get.
Yeah, the people who are going to be at UNIFCON, you guys you go right to the top of the heap. I'm telling you, you guys do a fantastic job.
What else do we have? I'm sorry, Ryan, you there?
No, I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah.
The phone sounds kind of weird. What else do we have to look forward to? We only got a couple minutes left, unfortunately.
Well, aside from, the conference and the speakers and stuff, one of the things that we're actually doing this year is a charity. So I would like to kind of talk about that, which is Make-A-Wish.
Please.
And what we're doing is we're getting all the speakers together, and a lot of them have TV shows or books or something, and we're even trying to get like other celebrities involved to kind of put together a package. And we're trying to get this paranormal investigators from all over the country who are coming, who represent different and various groups. We're trying to reach out and have these groups raise money for Make-A-Wish, and hoping that, we're starting off very small this year. We just want to raise enough money to make one wish for a child to go to Disney World or, something like that. And so, if all these organizations, if they raise some money, whether it's $10 or a few $100s, they pitch it all in together, I think we'll be able to achieve that. And so what we're going to do is, we're having all the celebrities and the speakers, we're going to put together kind of like a bundle prize, things that I think will kind of be in appreciation for all these people doing it. And people are talking about paranormal unity and things, and I think this would be a great opportunity for paranormal organizations and people to kind of work together towards something.
And that's great, and we're seeing this a lot more, too. A lot of the conferences we go to, a lot of this is happening where there's a lot of charity work being done, too.
That's good, yeah.
And
it's definitely a positive turn,
God, yeah.
and I'm very glad to see it. There of course is information at unifcon.org.
Yep. Yeah, unifcon.org. Now this
that was a leading
that we just
question.
Got approved.
Sorry, Ryan.
This is something that that's okay. This is something that we just kind of finalized. So there'll be more information later on this week about it and how your group can help. And even if you're not going to UNIFCON, please consider maybe helping by asking your friends and family to pitch in a couple bucks and send it our way.
Yeah, definitely. And all of our listeners, like Ryan said, if you're not going, we back this up 190%. We totally back this up, and I know we're going to do our part too.
Yes, we are.
With Doug's huge paycheck, we're going to make sure that kid is taken care of for the next 20 years.
He's going to have so much Diet Pepsi on his trip that, I'm sorry, DP. We can't use the brand name. Yeah. Scratch that
just
brand
cost us
name.
$10,000.
I know. It's a registered trademark of Pepsi Corp or whatever.
Now we're out of trouble.
But I have to say, he'll have tons of that.
And we know our listeners out there
liters.
Definitely hop onto this too. If you can't go to UNIFCON, hey, help out. We'd like to see. We want to help whatever child this may be. I think it's a good thing to do.
Yeah, I know it is. Make-A-Wish has always been one of my favorite
charities,
organizations ever.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're dealing with kids. They're dealing with people who are,
they're new to this life we call with this thing.
Yeah, and they're not going to be around very long, and it's and why not let them meet a basketball star if that's what they're into, or go to one of the Disney properties if that's what they're into. Whatever they want to. Of course, that's Bonnie's wish too.
Yeah.
That's my wish every day.
Bonnie's all of a sudden starting to cough or something now for some reason. I don't know what the problem is. So, Ryan, any closing things? We have to go to break here in a couple minutes. Is there anything else you'd like to mention?
No, I think that just check out the website www.unifcon.org. Take a look at the list. I think that it's going to be a great time. And actually, Lorraine and Father LeBar's talk is exactly 2 months from today. So I'm really excited about that.
Well, we're excited to have her on this Wednesday. It's been a very long time since Lorraine graced the glorious halls here at Ghostly Talk.
Yes.
And we're looking forward to talking to her and talking about UNIFCON some more on Wednesday and all that fun stuff.
That's it.
That's it.
Okay.
All right, no problem at all.
Topher and Ryan, thank you so much again. Your website,
guys, thanks a lot.
www.univcon.org. Sign up there for the conference.
Yeah.
Look through who you're going to want to attend the speakers and things like that, because this is a big one. 4-day event.
4-day event.
4-day event. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, or is it? Yeah.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday,
Thursday,
Sunday.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It's coming up in 2 months. We're going to be hearing from, of course, Lorraine, and I'm just
Chip
so
Coffee.
excited.
Lloyd Auerbach will be coming on also. Oh, you name it, guys. The next couple months are going to be crazy here, but we're looking so forward to it also.
We are that geeked about UNIFCON.
Topher, Ryan, thank you guys again for coming on the show and talking about the UNIFCON again.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
We'll be hang on the line. Don't leave us just yet, okay? We're
Don't
going to
hang
break.
up, you guys.
All right.
All right.
Coming
up. Yeah, go ahead, Doug. It's all you.
Dr. Rita Louise of soulhealer.com.
Interesting half an hour ahead of us.
Yes, I can't wait.
For more information, visit ghostlytalk.com.
One of the largest and most influential paranormal conferences in the country, UNIVCON, is coming for the largest and most spectacular event to date. UNIVCON offers a trademark variety of events, including academic workshops, committees, entertainment, ghost hunts, debates, and even social outings. It is more than a conference, it is a cultural event to celebrate the paranormal, its pioneers, investigators, and the attendees. Thousands have attended UNIVCON in the past, and every year the numbers grow. UNIVCON is still the only major paranormal conference held at a university. UNIVCON holds that university mentality of continuing education, research, and a safe environment to present new ideas. It is a place to learn and discuss paranormal investigation methods, psychology and the paranormal, demonology, ethics, and more. Every conference takes place at University Park, Pennsylvania, home of Penn State University. This year, be a part of history. Join us this year, October 18th to the 21st, 2007 for UNIVCON 6, the greatest show on earth. For ticket information, visit www.univcon.org. That's www.univcon.org.
Hey, Scott L. I just want to thank you for this sweet Ghostly Talk t-shirt, man. When I put it on, women just start coming at me from all directions.
Well, no problem, dude.
Oh, yeah, and check this out. I had this rash on my chest for like 3 months, right? The first time I wore this Ghostly Talk t-shirt for the day, I took it off before bed and the rash was gone.
Really?
Yeah, dude. I also worked at a job interview I had last week, and not only did I get the job, but the boss liked it so much, he made me his partner.
Huh?
Yeah, and I'm now a millionaire because of your Ghostly Talk t-shirts.
Well, you know, we not only have new t-shirts for 2007, but Ghostly Talk also has a brand new line of bumper stickers and 1 1/4-inch buttons.
You're kidding!
No, sir. You can check them out and also find out how to order them at ghostlytalk.com.
I must go and order all of them now!
Whoa, hold on. Save some for the rest of the listeners. As you can see, Ghostly Talk swag is going fast, so head on over to ghostlytalk.com and check it out. T-shirts, bumper stickers, and 1 1/4-inch buttons, all for a very cheap price. Order yours today.
You are listening to Ghostly Talk with your hosts, Doug and Scott L.
Well, thank you, Scott L. That was excellent board work.
I just pushed a couple of buttons.
You did good.
Oh, thanks.
Before we bring on Dr. Rita Louise, I do, first of all, I want to give you her website. It's www.soulhealer.com. SOULHEALER.com. Go there, call it up on your screens, because we're going to be talking with her in just a moment. But I wanted to remind everybody, or tell everybody, because I don't know if it's been officially announced yet, but I want to have everybody write down September 2nd on your calendars. It's a Sunday. Sunday night after Ghostly Talk, of course, is going to be the premiere episode of Encounters on radio, and it's going to be on WBZT AM 1230.
That's in Florida.
In Florida,
Yeah.
Pretty much the entire east coast of Florida, from Orlando all the way down to Fort Lauderdale, is covered by WBZT, and Tim Yancey is going to be hosting Encounters live on the radio that night. If you go to encountersbroadcasting.com or timyancey.com. Of course, Tim's been a guest on Ghostly Talk, so if you go
Dear friend.
into the guest, previous
archives
guest
and
links,
stuff like
we've got Tim Yancey's links up there. You go to timyancey.com through there. September 2nd, inaugural show of the Encounters. It's an hour on AM 1230 WBZT, and of course WBZT. What am I saying? WBZT.com is where you can listen to that live via the internet, because I know a lot of people listen to our show via the internet as well. So I just wanted to remind everybody, mark September 2nd. All right, that's enough of that, because I am so excited that I'm going to read this so that we can bring Dr. Louise on. Dr. Rita Louise, PhD, ND, is the founder of the Institute of Applied Energetics and the host of, thank heavens, I was just looking at Just Energy Radio. I'm so glad, because this is going to be a good a good interview, because we've got someone who'll talk and talk and talk. I love it. The host of Just Energy Radio, a naturopathic physician and a 20-year veteran in the human potential field. It is her unique gift as a medical intuitive and clairvoyant that illuminates and enlivens her work. Author of the books Avoiding the Cosmic 2x4 and The Power Within, Dr. Louise credits early childhood influences for the direction that her life would take. Her website, again, is www.soulhealer.com. Dr. Rita Louise, it is so good to talk to you on Ghostly Talk.
Well, thanks for having me, but I guess I'm supposed to talk and stuff. I can't just go, yeah.
Yeah, well, I like...
Yeah.
We already pigeonholed you. You're in trouble.
Yeah, sorry, we've already characterized you as quite the talker, so...
Darn!
We've actually been playing your commercial in rotation here on Ghostly Talk, too, Dr. Rita.
Oh, cool.
For Just Energy Radio, right?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
We have that in rotation here. You'll probably, for our listeners, you'll probably hear the commercial for the show. Go check it out. Definitely, it's something else out there for you to listen to.
And then you can hang out with me.
Yeah, there you go. You can hang out with Dr. Rita.
Excellent. Yeah, that's on Friday night. It's Friday nights, right?
Right.
Just Energy.
Yeah, 7 to 9 p.m. Central Time.
That was it. Yes.
There you go.
So I knew it was Friday nights, and it didn't conflict with our evidently popular Sunday nights. I don't know why Sunday night is so popular for paranormal, but no, Just
you can
Energy
broadcast
Radio.
right on top of us for all I care.
Yeah,
don't matter to me.
It doesn't matter to me. Most people listen to the archives, but you do obviously a lot of healing work. Otherwise, soulhealer.com. A lot of healing work, and that's something. And I try to get people to act healthier and be healthier, and what do you have to change in your daily life in order to be a better, more well-rounded and healthy person?
Well, I mean, one of the biggest things that I tell people is that they just need to listen to themselves, because if you weigh 300 pounds, there's this part inside of you that's going, I shouldn't eat that chicken.
Okay.
Or I should drink more water, or maybe I should exercise. There's always that nagging voice inside of you that's telling you, well, I should quit smoking, or I should do this.
I usually try and drown it with chocolate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but we're all good at doing that. But if we actually listen to ourselves, then we would all be in probably a lot better shape.
See, my voice says weight training. It wants me to do weight training, and I keep putting it off because I don't want big muscly muscles and everything. So, no, I'm only kidding. I just I do think that people have an instinct as to what's good for them and what they're doing that's wrong for them. But why don't I listen? Why don't I listen to my own instincts?
Because we're good at
it. Because how easy is it?
I mean, even
am I
with
lazy?
People, no, even with people. Okay, I'll give you an example. I had a woman that came in that had irritable bowel syndrome, and as a medical intuitive, I can look in her body and go, well, from your ileocecal valve up till where it turns to go across the gut, it was irritated, and so I said, here's a list of some supplements that you should take. It will calm that tissue down. And we made an appointment for her to come back a month later. I mean, a month. And for me to do some energy work, do a follow-up, blah, 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 blah. So she comes back. I have her on the table. Her gut is even more irritated than it was the first time she came. And I said, well, did you get any of the supplements that I told you? No. I mean, I'm not cheap, you know what I mean? It's and she was back, and I just, and I didn't go off on her. I said, well, you're paying me good money. It's like you would think you'd maybe listen to something I said, before you came back.
Right.
So I don't know. I don't understand that.
Well,
people
I think
are not compliant even when they're given real health advice.
Do we really want the magic pill? I mean, because
I think most people do.
Most people want the magic pill. Yeah. Just pop this, you'll be good as new.
It's because we're all lazy.
I think so too.
That too.
It's so easy to pull through a drive-through.
Well,
and I've noticed since going on a diet back in May that it is very difficult to scare up some food that I can eat. And
Dr. Rita, tell me if I'm on the right path here, because I'm going through the same thing you're going through, Doug.
Irritable bowel syndrome.
Not. I'm always going through that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just going through irritable everywhere. I'm irritable everywhere.
He does it well.
Yeah, he's good at it.
No.
Yeah.
Doug and I both have kind of taken on this new role where we're both trying to get a little more healthy. We're trying to drop weight and stuff like that. And for me, for example, this is where I think it comes down to. People have made a habit out of BSing themselves to the point where they can rationalize themselves out of doing anything. Okay? For example, my thing, okay, I really need to get on the treadmill today and do only 20 minutes on the treadmill. 1 mile, right? Fast-paced walking. 20 minutes out of my whole day, right? And there's been a couple days, I won't lie, where I was like, okay, I need to get up on that treadmill. But Scott, it's such a rainy day outside, and you're kind of bummed out because it's raining and you're kind of down, and maybe you should just relax today. You deserve to let yourself relax today, Scott. Oh, Scott, you need to relax. If you relax, you'll be more healthy, right? And that's just a quick little example of sometimes what I put myself through, where I've went from, okay, here's what I need to do to get myself in shape, and I just totally BS'd myself out of it completely. I think a lot of people do that to themselves. Am I right?
Everybody does that.
Yeah.
Or not everybody. There are some people that are, calling me up and going, well, if I take this, it takes all kinds. But no, there's more people that don't want to do stuff. And so, I don't know which he made the comment about, going through fast food is easy, but personally, I can do fast food maybe once a month, and then I'm done. I mean, I cook every day.
And I don't blame you. I have to say, since...
but it doesn't seem hard to me because it's like I can't palate the other stuff.
Well, since starting... Because I started a diet back in May, and the end of May, and it... since eating differently... Other than hitting the fast foods, et cetera, I've noticed that the fast foods are not as enjoyable as they used to be. I mean, it used to be pretty.
And I bet you feel
neat.
better too.
And I feel better. Of course, I'm dieting, so of course I feel better. But I just
think
getting
rid of the chemicals and the junk food will normally make people start to feel better too.
Yes,
and that takes time too. That doesn't happen overnight, does it, Dr. Rita?
Well, actually, once you start putting good stuff in and not putting the junk in, people will usually start to feel the benefits of it within a month.
Yeah.
They might not feel 100% better, but they'll start to notice a difference actually even within a couple of weeks. Mm-hmm. It really doesn't take that long. I mean, it doesn't mean that your body's not toxic, but it is less toxic than it was 2 weeks before.
Well, do you think it's a mental thing also for some people? Because I find myself going into that where, when I do cook for myself, when I make a healthy meal of vegetables or whatever it may be, something light. I mean, yeah, it is easier on the body. It doesn't make you sluggish naturally. But mentally, I always go, hey, I'm eating something really good here. I'm feeling good about this. And all around, everything, your attitude changes too, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a certain mental factor. And going back to what you were saying, people have to want to make changes and bring things into their lives. And an example of that would be someone that drinks or someone that smokes. I mean, until that person makes that decision that they're not going to have another drink, someone that's an alcoholic, obviously, they're not going to have another drink or they're not going to have another cigarette, and they make that decision like deep within themselves that this is what I'm going to do for me, then they'll keep going off the wagon, and you're good for a little while and then you're not.
Yeah. I've always found, the advice has come my way. I've given the advice and it's always the same. You have to do it for yourself. It has to be something that you want solely for yourself. I know friends that have tried to quit smoking for significant others or have tried to get in shape for significant others, and it never seems to work for them. You have to really, really want it on your own, by yourself to do it, or it's not going to work. It never does.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, what about is there any external influences that you've run across? Like I've heard. I'm specifically thinking of things like Amityville or the Haunting in Connecticut cases, where
that will make you fat.
That make you fat. No, where an entity, something that's unknown, you can't see it, you can't do anything about it without assistance from the church or demonologists or whatever.
Yeah.
It something, an external entity can affect your health.
Very much so. Very much so. I mean, I have this whole spiel on, different kinds of entities, and, what you're talking about is an attached entity.
Right.
And attached entities always influence some kind of behavior in a person, whether it's, they beat you up inside so that you have an inferiority complex, so you think you're crap, or true story. Okay, this kind of goes with our diet concept.
Okay.
And I was amazed. I mean, it was just flabbergasting to me. So I had this woman come in who was bulimic. Okay, so I'm a pretty thin person, but I don't eat. So, this was like foreign to me. So I said, well, give me an idea of what you eat. And so she goes, well, 6 Big Macs. And I'm like, in one meal? She goes, yeah. I go, what about the fries and Coke? She goes, oh, those 2. And I go, well, then what? She goes, well, then I throw it up. And I mean, this woman, she could have used to lose a couple of pounds, but she was not what would be considered obese.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, and is that like for one meal? She goes, yeah. And I go, well, what about breakfast? Oh, a box of cereal or 2, or a dozen eggs and toast. And I mean, she would eat 3 meals a day.
Oh my gosh! So she would.
Yeah, and
binge.
I was just like, okay, well, 6 Big Macs would last me like a week.
Yeah, that's a week's of food.
So she would binge big time,
and then purge.
And
3
of
times
course,
a day.
The problem with that is, well, first of all, doing that regularly, you're really abusing your body.
That's
but
hard
also, you get no nutrients out of that.
Right. So that was her complaint, and I am flabbergasted by this whole food scenario. I mean, I just couldn't even imagine getting 6 Big Macs into my gut in the first place. But besides that, and so we're talking, and she made this comment about. I had seen this other psychic, and she made some comment about me being possessed, and and it was just like, and I backed up the tape and went, well, maybe, and I kind of shifted gears and looked, and this woman had a freaking entity attached to her that was hungry.
Really hungry, apparently.
Entity. Huh?
That was a hungry entity, apparently, because
apparently,
do you know?
My God.
And so, I spent the rest of the session working with her, moving the entity out. And I talked to her about 2 weeks later. I go, how's it going? She was like, it stopped.
Wow.
Period.
And that's pretty much all it took, was just get rid of that entity, and
yeah.
And her own needs and desires and wants took over, and her body can now tell her, hey, you're done after one Big Mac, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And what's interesting is I've heard interesting related stories. One was an Edgar Cayce story where he would the subject, the guy he was to do a reading on, was attached, or an entity that was in life an alcoholic. Right?
Yes.
Attached himself to this living person who then would go on these alcoholic binges, right? Where the guy was not, an alcoholic, or he, previous to that.
Yeah.
And he got, attached to this alcoholic entity, who then, of course, these entities, they do not get the same satisfaction, right? This hungry entity in that Dr. Louise just told us about, or the alcoholic entity from the case with Edgar Cayce.
Yeah.
They don't get the same satisfaction as when they had a body, right?
But they live vicariously through you.
And they're living vicariously through you, but they can never get enough.
Right.
You can't have enough Big Macs to please an entity that doesn't have a body. You can't get enough whiskey sours to please an entity that doesn't have a body. And so you're destroying your own real body, for this outside entity. How do you detect these? Is this hopefully not common?
Actually, it's a lot more common than you might think. And I would say in the last year and a half, my office has been kind of entity central.
Wow.
I have these people that come in and, they have this complaint, and then I, look, and it's like, because when I'm doing a session, like if I'm looking in someone's body, it's like I have a certain set of filters on, so that I'm looking, I'm trying to think of an example, so let's say the physical body, your heart and your lungs and whatever, I put on a red filter. And then if I'm looking at an emotional thing, or like something, a dynamic in a relationship, I put on a green filter. And so for me to kind of even detect the entity, unless somebody says something that flags me to shift, I have to put this filter on, and it's the same filter I use when I go out and do an investigation, because, it's a being without a body, so it's the same vibration. And so usually there's something that, either something they'll say, or their complaint, I'm not seeing it in their body. And so then I'll go, well, okay, typically when someone has this complaint, it will fit like in this chakra or perhaps in this organ, and I'm not seeing it. So where is this coming from? And I'll start, looking around for other kinds of things.
Interesting.
Yeah,
So you sometimes have to. It's an investigation then that you're doing. I mean, you're like,
right.
Okay, they have this complaint. Okay, I'm looking. I'm just not. I don't see a source for that.
Yeah,
I don't.
exactly.
And so you inquire more. Well, tell me more about it. And eventually they'll say something.
Or just in our conversation, they'll say something. That there are certain words that people will say, or certain phrases that are very common with people that have entities. It's like, well, it's like I can't get that voice out of my head that says, I suck.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Which a lot of people will say that, but to me, that's a phrase that, well, maybe they got an entity hanging out right by their ear going, you suck, you suck, you suck.
That's what people say about Ghostly Talk a lot. But
I don't think it's an entity, though.
That's not. That's many.
I think
entities,
it's just really bad.
Yeah. But thanks, Bonnie. Yeah, I don't know if I was talking about you in particular, but a lot of other people do too. But no, that's true. It's true, Dr. Louise. How do you find out if? Like, do you have to go to you? Do you have to contact you and say, look, something's way wrong, right? How do people get to that level where all of a sudden it's like I've got to search the internet and they run across soulhealer.com or something like that before some professional can help them? What does it take to get to that point? How do people know? Oh my goodness, I need some assistance with this.
Well, I mean, a lot of it. every so often I will get someone that calls with a complaint of an entity, with a complaint, but that's very rare. Usually they call with some other issue.
Right.
And it evolves into that. I mean, I just very recently had a woman who had an incubus attached to her.
Wow.
And based on her conversation, because one of her questions was I molested by my stepdad? And when I looked at her energy and I looked at his energy, I was like, no. And then she made some other comments about some other things, and and this is on the phone, and I'm sitting there with my head in my hand going, oh, I don't even want to deal with it if it's an entity, but I'm feeling like it's an entity.
Oh, no.
So I, lift my head back up, and I put that little entity filter on, and I'm looking around, and there's this freaking pervert looking up between her legs.
Oh, man.
Oh, my goodness.
And you're like, do you know what the paperwork is for one of these? No, I just don't believe it.
Well, I mean, it was trippy, and I'm talking about it, and she was like, no, I think it was my stepdad. And I said, I'll bet you don't wear dresses. And she said, what? I said, it's not comfortable for you to wear dresses. She goes, I haven't worn a dress in like 30 years. And I said, that's because the entity is always looking up between your legs.
Oh, my God. And
wow.
So it was interesting. She just recently came for a session, and there was another issue that was going on that I thought was past life related. And we did some work with this entity, and what we got to move was this energy of this trauma, which I thought was hers, but it was attached to the entity. And so I don't know if she had actually two entities, one the pervert and one that had this trauma, or if it was just one who had a trauma and was a pervert.
Well, that's a tangled case there. This is fascinating. And you get to use these because you've got this ability to do the entities, to look into a person for healing. I mean, I know I asked about the entities, and I know that that's going to be probably a small percentage of what you do, but it's just the thing that just really, really interests me personally is how much control we don't have, or how much control we allow something that we don't even know about to have over us, and that's something that really bugs me personally. So that's why, not because I have an entity, because I don't. I kicked him out a long time ago. But
while I have multiple
but one of the things that happens is that we have our aura, our personal space around our body. And so when a being, and I'm going to say without a body, the majority, now I will say this, the majority of them actually take on human form, although there are some that, are alien or demon form, which is a totally different category.
Yeah.
When they enter our auric field, it's like that's our space, so we assume it's ours. And so sometimes we can have an interaction with another live person, and we allow their energy into our auric field, and now we think it's our problem. And so when that entity is in our space, most of us aren't able to separate ourselves out from that entity, and that's why we don't recognize it.
And but this is a small part of your practice. Normally, you're helping people with not other entity, with normal health related, and
relationship, and whatever.
Right. Your website is www.soulhealer.com, and your books, Avoiding the Cosmic 2x4 and The Power Within. I just wanted to throw that out again,
absolutely.
Because we're like, seconds away from a break, right?
Yeah, we are. Unfortunately, Dr. Rita, we want to thank you for coming on the show. We so appreciate it.
Well, thanks for having me. You guys are fun.
Oh, well, thank you. We'll have to have you come back again sometime.
Well, that would be very good.
And don't forget to tune in to Just Energy Radio on Friday nights. So go to soulhealer.com and click on the Just Energy Radio link. It's over on the left down toward the middle-ish. And
or
tune
they
in
can go to justenergyradio.com.
And that's even easier, justenergyradio.com. So soulhealer.com, justenergyradio.com. Thank you,
Dr. Rita.
Thank you.
Yeah, hang on the line for 1 second. Don't leave us just yet. We're just going to go to break. Coming up.
I wanted another half hour with Dr.
Louise. I screwed up again on the schedule.
That's okay. We'll
have to work it out.
There are other shows.
You guys are very fun.
I hope.
Cool.
Thank you.
We're glad to hear that.
So yes, but coming up, of course, Timothy Schultz. So everybody call this up on your computers if you're sitting in front of one. ChasingTheShadows.com. We're going to talk about that movie. Spooky stuff coming up on Ghostly Talk.
I'm 100% sure of that.
Interested in ghosts? UFOs? How about the occult? Are you psychic? Would you like to find out? Well, if you're intrigued by the world's curiosities and all that is paranormal, then Paralore.com is a place for you. Create your own profile, start a photo album, write a blog, or just hang out and watch countless hours worth of paranormal videos while chatting with other Paralore members. Who knows? You could win a prize or two if you're quick and brave enough. It's all here, and it's all free. Visit www.paralore.com and join today. Again, membership is free, and we know you won't be disappointed.
Paralore.com. Unlock your mind.
You are listening to Ghostly Talk with your hosts, Doug and Scott L.
Couple more quick reminders before I forget.
We have to make Keith redo that with your hosts, Doug and Scott L. and Bonnie
And we
Lou.
knew it. We gotta recut those.
Bonnie
You're right.
Lou.
Bonnie Lou.
Jeez, my name changes every week.
Yeah. We are going to have one of our illustrious Mid-South Paranormal Trivia questions tonight.
Ooh, yes, we need to give the number out.
We need to give the number out. Go ahead, Doug.
I
thought you had it on you.
I just put it away. I just put it away. Our phone number is, of course... Oh, not on that screen. It is area code 605-475-8590. And then when the nice recorded lady asks for it, our secret conference ID is 555-1081, followed by the pound sign.
Yes, I don't know when we're going to do that yet. I just don't know.
But people are welcome to call in and listen to the show on the telephone. If you've got unlimited nights and weekends, do it. Why not?
Yeah, definitely.
Area code 605-475-8590, followed by 555-1081 and the pound sign. Of course, that's up on our website at ghostlytalk.com.
So sometime tonight, I'm going to ask the illustrious question, the ridiculously hard trivia question.
I read it. It is
extremely
hard this week.
It's a real tough one, and
you almost have to be an insider to know this one.
Oh, yeah, it's brutal. Yeah. It is brutal.
Yes,
so check that out. Keep your ears open for that. Call in. You get yourself a free ticket for the Mid-South Paranormal Conference. Also, this coming Wednesday, Lorraine Warren will be on the show for a very special evening, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on Ghostly Talk this Wednesday, August 22nd. Check that out. Okay. In the meantime, though, we have plenty to do tonight.
Yes, we do.
Going on.
And I'm very excited about this next one.
Timothy Schultz, the documentary filmmaker who has brought together his interest in the paranormal, his desire to create a compelling film. Now check this out, all right? This is what makes Tim cool, and we got to be really nice to him too.
I read this and I was like, "Holy cow! I want to talk to him so bad I can't even see straight."
I'm sure he's grinning right now too. In 1989, Tim won the lottery, becoming one of the youngest lottery winners in history, enabling him the ability to pursue his dreams of entertaining others. He has been featured in numerous media outlets, including the recent appearance on TLC, which is the Learning Channel. Tim holds a degree in journalism with an emphasis on film, and has worked throughout the field of television production. He is now undertaking a journey into some of the most haunted places on the planet, and an unprecedented look at the phenomenon known as ghosts. We talk about that here, don't we, a little bit?
I've heard a little bit about ghosts on Ghostly Talk.
He has tracked down an elite group of paranormal experts, spiritual leaders, and scientists, and has spent the night alone in what is said to be the most active room of the Stanley Hotel, the same hotel which helped inspire the classic horror novel, The Shining. Tim's goal with this project is to create the most cutting-edge, truthful, yet entertaining ghost documentary out there. Tim's website is chasingtheshadows.com. You can check it out there. And
the trailer's up.
The trailer's up there, yeah. And with that, we'd like to welcome Timothy Schultz to Ghostly Talk. How you doing tonight, Timothy?
Hey, great. How about you?
I'm a little tired now.
Yeah, after that bio, my goodness.
I'll tell you what. We'll keep this brief because I don't want to talk about this the whole time. But you don't get to talk. I've only met one person in my life that actually won the lottery. Okay, and I don't want to ride you on this, man. But I mean, obviously one of the youngest people in history to win the lottery. I mean, that must be one of the most exhilarating. It had to have been pretty cool, huh, Tim?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's hard to believe. It's definitely something that I don't take for granted. It's been a life-changing experience, and, it's amazing. I can't really, every day I wake up and, it's just kind of like is this real? You know, it's really hard to believe. It was a life-changing thing, and it's given me the chance to pursue my dreams. And I went back to school and was able to go to college and put myself through there and study film and journalism and just, you know, really do what I want, which is entertaining others, and also have a huge interest in the paranormal and, you know, what exactly happens when we die. So I just two of them together to start this project.
Well, I need to give him big props though, because I think his, you know, me and Amber, we sit around trying to think of, you know, these harebrained ideas to make ourselves independently wealthy, right?
Yeah.
But we don't think that far ahead. We're like, okay, I want to be independently wealthy. And I have to commend you, because I think if I was in your position, I'd be like in the Caribbean right now, with like on the beach with you know, numerous alcoholic beverages, just going, yeah, this is the rest of my life right here. Whereas
that sounds so boring to me.
Yeah.
Bonnie and I.
Thanks, Doug. That just sounds so boring to me, Scott.
Bonnie and I have talked about it.
At great length.
At great length, we've talked about it because we do play the Mega Million game, right?
Oh yeah.
And we, so when it gets up over 100 million, we always talk about this, and it's up over 100 million now. And we were chatting last time, and I said, Bonnie, if you won all this money, what would you do? And she says, I'd stay home. And I thought, that's absolutely brilliant, because most people would be like, oh, I'm going to travel, I'm going to do all these great things, you know. And the thing is we travel so much. We travel enough. We travel so much for Ghostly Talk that it would be a treat just to stay home.
I would actually pay someone to be my stand-in at conferences.
Would you please go to this conference for me and pretend?
Just tell everyone you're Bonnie Joe. They'll know.
Well, you went out and did something though, and that's what I commend you about, Timothy. Is you actually you're taking this time you have, the money you have, and putting it into something that other people can enjoy and learn from, and I think that's just fantastic.
Well, yeah, thank you very much. Really appreciate that. I mean, to me, it's I feel like it was meant to happen in a way. I mean, not to be. Well, basically, I had a dream about it actually, and I wouldn't totally consider myself a psychic or something, but I think everybody has some sort of ability, but that's just my own personal opinion. But I had this dream a few months prior to winning that I actually won, and it was so realistic that I woke up, thinking that I was still in the dream. And so, I mean, it took a while to realize that it was a dream, and that's how it was just very realistic. And so I was convinced that I was going to win, and then a few months later I actually did, and it was just really, really very surreal. That's for sure.
Well,
that's awesome.
It's got to be a surreal feeling to go through something like that. I mean, I think it's established that it's a fantastic thing for that to happen to anybody. And like I said, I'm glad to see you're actually doing something with that, and you have this product that you have people that you're offering people to check out.
Thank you very much. And I think anybody can pursue their dreams, and everybody should pursue their dreams. And for me, this is just it's kind of like fuel on the fire, so to speak. It just kind of gave me that extra edge just to really get out there and a jump start, so to speak.
Oh, yeah, completely.
I feel very thankful, and I definitely, I don't think money makes happiness, and it doesn't make you who you are, but it can give you the ability to do certain things, like for me, make this film. So,
one thing I want to say to you about that also too is everything happens for a reason, and when you said a couple of seconds ago that you said something to the effect, alluded to the fact that I felt like this was supposed to happen to me. That's just assurance in yourself, I think. And I know going through life, I don't think there are any coincidences or anything like that. I think this stuff happens for a reason, and I think this happened to you for a reason also, Timothy.
And it's so we could get such phenomenal things, such as I watched the trailer, and I was like, I can't wait for this movie. I mean, one of the most haunted places in the United States has got to be obviously Myrtle's Plantation. Who here hasn't heard of it? Raise your hand. No hands. Right. So I mean,
I'm kidding.
Okay. And and you actually you got to go there. You got to investigate it, and you got to. This has got to have been one of the most interesting journeys of your life, because you got to work with and meet all kinds of people who I'm sure prior to undertaking this project you never would have even approached. I mean, you probably read books or saw them on TV or whatever, but you actually got to put together quite a team, and learn undoubtedly more than
us.
So that's why you get to share with us the things that you've learned and the things that you've done for this project. So why the Myrtles, and why the people who you put together to do this with you?
Well, I mean, it's all been very, very fascinating to be able to meet all these different, diverse, tons of different viewpoints and perspectives on what exactly happens to people when they die and how to communicate with them. I mean, and there's just so many different outlooks on it, and it's just very, very fascinating. And I've had, I feel very lucky to have met a lot of the people that I've met during the filming of this project, and specifically, we met, I got to interview a quantum physicist, Dr. Claude Swanson. He's very... just hearing a quantum physicist's point of view on it, I think, is very fascinating. What they're doing in that field is really interesting. And the demonologist, Mr. John Zaffis.
Oh, love him.
Oh no, you brought up John.
I love him.
I should have warned you, Timmy, before we came on the air. You shouldn't have. You don't want to say Jay-Z on the air with Bonnie because she freaks out. But we're into it now, so we got to deal with it.
Johnny Z is the man. I love him.
John's the man.
She's now running her fingers through her hair. Yes. So we've got, we're prepping to talk about John Z.
What was your experience like with John?
Well, he seems like a great guy. He's very, very, just to be able to interview him and to talk to him about some of his experiences throughout his career, it's just fascinating. I don't think there's many people out there like him that have had so many different experiences and have such a background in the field, and it's just an honor, to be honest, just to interview him. So
there are not. He is definitely quite unique, and I have to say that working with him, did you interview him for the show, or for the movie, or did you is he going to be like in it? Did you work with him in the field?
We did both.
Okay.
And I don't know. I mean, we've shot for the past. This film has been in production for the past 2 years, and so we have so much footage that we don't know exactly what exactly is going to make the cut because we're still filming, and we hope to have a version this fall. But for at least to submit to film festivals, and eventually, of course, it'll be picked up by a distributor. But to answer your question, I really don't know exactly what is going to be in the movie, so I don't want to say something that's not going to be in there. But we did interview him as well as work with him in the field a little bit, and both experiences were just phenomenal.
Right. The heart of the question was about, did you get a chance to work with him? And because I got a chance only to work with him one time. Work really closely with him in North Carolina.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, it changed my life. I had been ghost hunting for 5 years or 4 years before that, and working with John for one night totally changed everything I thought I knew about ghost hunting and about working in the field at all. And he just is that experienced, and he is that knowledgeable that and it's just natural to him. He doesn't know that all of us don't know what he knows. I mean, he doesn't know what we haven't learned yet, and so he had to sit us down and fill us in on what was going on. And I was like, this is just absolutely amazing. I never in a million years would I have thought that I would run into a situation like this, and where I would have needed John Zaffis to be there in order to take control and tell us what was going on and how to proceed. And he was just absolutely amazing to work with. So I'm glad you got that opportunity, Tim.
I feel very lucky. I mean, he's quite a guy, and he definitely knows. He knows what he's talking about. He seems to know what he's talking about, and I feel it was definitely an honor,
He also attracts things, which is kind of notorious on a ghost hunt. Because when we were in, weren't you guys in the woods with him in Gettysburg, Bonnie?
I was not.
You weren't, but they were, and evidently between him and Jonathan and Tom, it was just evidently the most active night in the like the spirits were just just wanting to talk to them and get out and see them. So it was just evidently pretty amazing. But I didn't go on. I was on that trip, but I didn't get to go in the woods with them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't doubt it was amazing. He's quite a guy.
Who else did you work with on this movie?
We've worked with Mark Macy.
Oh, we love him too.
We're gonna finally get to meet him in October.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, there's another person, I felt very honored to meet, and he's just a great guy, very positive energy, and we had the honor of doing an interview and working with him with his device called the Illuminator. Are you guys familiar with that?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was just, he has this thing set up, and it's just an amazing device. I'm not exactly sure how it works myself. It emits some sort of, I don't want to talk to tech aspects of this and then look like a fool, but, it emits some kind of this field of energy that is theoretically, spirits are able to manipulate this into form on these Polaroid pictures. And I don't mean, here's some sort of something that might be a face or something that might be a spirit. I mean, these are like actual physical looking human beings on these Polaroids. And it's really, I was blown away myself. And then again, I don't know what is going to be making the cut of the movie, but it was quite an honor to witness that as well. So
that's absolutely incredible. What's the underlying thread? What is the vision, the overall vision of Chasing the Shadows?
Well, it's kind of funny. It started out as strictly a ghost documentary, where I just wanted to know what a ghost was and whether or not I could have an experience. And throughout the past couple years, it's kind of evolved into being more of a movie about, is communication with the deceased, how can you do that? Is that possible?
Mm-hmm.
What ways are people doing that? And, it's become more of a real experiment is what it is. And it's a real experiment to try to communicate with the deceased, and just basically looking at it from all kinds of different perspectives. And it's been mind blowing to me to be able to witness all these different areas. And one thing, we went to Africa not too long ago, to Benin, which is considered the birthplace of voodoo.
Wow! Oh. Wow!
Yeah, we got to work with a fetisher over there, which is basically the equivalent of a voodoo priest, and had access to these special areas that most people don't get to witness. And luckily we had our cameras there, and we could capture these rituals. And it's just, that's another form of communicating with the deceased that typically people don't see in the mainstream media. So it was really, I feel very lucky to be able to have captured that.
Well, what did you guys? As far as this, as far as the birth, you said this is the birthplace of voodoo. Am I correct?
Yes, it's archaeological evidence says basically that around 4,000 years ago, people were practicing voodoo, and it originated in this country that's now known as Benin.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, I don't know, it's just, I think around 50% of the population over there practices voodoo. So that tells you something. But
oh yeah,
is that their form of religion?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Wow. And so they are active practitioners of their religion, and that religion is voodoo, which is probably a pretty foreign concept in Americans' minds.
Yeah. Well,
so that's absolutely fascinating. When how often do you travel then for this project? Is it once a month? Is it we did a huge rush and then have tapered off?
Well, it definitely varies. Some months we have 2 or 3 shoots, and some months we don't have any, because a lot of it is in post-production and the edit, and it is a movie, so we still have to go out and we have to get music and sound design and so forth, but at the same time it's a documentary and it's not fiction, and so we have to go out and actually capture the footage rather than have scripts and have people write up. It's an art of its own, a documentary.
And have you seen a ghost?
I've had a few experiences, definitely, in this film. One thing that is profiled in this film, we have this device that's known as the telephone to the dead.
Yep.
And it's Christopher Moon's.
Yep.
This particular device is Christopher Moon's, and he's the president of Haunted Times magazine.
Yep.
And he, this device to me is pretty remarkable. There's these voices. Are you guys familiar with how it works?
Yes. As a matter of fact, in Arkansas, we got to. We didn't get to meet Chris because we had just arrived, but we did get to hear his speech about it. So we got to see the slides and talk, hear about it, but we didn't get to physically talk to him because he was going one way and we were going the other. So but we are familiar with it. Yes.
Yeah. Well, it's on this device. I've heard lots of different voices. I've heard voices on there call my name, Tim, Timothy. Males, females, so different genders, and to me, that device, there's no question in my mind that it works, and it's just amazing. One instance, we shot at this this mansion that was supposedly haunted in downtown Denver, and supposedly there were 2 failed exorcisms that had taken place here, and all kinds of poltergeist activity had been reported for years, and so we went in there and kind of tailed Christopher Moon, and they did this investigation, and one of the things that they did was have this device turned on, and in the process, I had a pocket Bible in my pocket, and I didn't tell anybody. It's funny because I just kind of, I'm not a total Christian, but I believe that it holds power, as do a lot of religions and personal beliefs in a higher existence. But so anyway, I had this thing in my pocket for kind of superstitious reasons of maybe it would protect me or something. I don't know what I was thinking, but so it was in my pocket, and this device is turned on, and there are these balls of light that keep flying like near my pocket. And at the same time that this is happening, through this device, it's saying things such as, like Bibles, Bibles don't work, Jesus, and all this different, so some kind of sorcery, and just things that I thought were directed at me, and I don't know.
So this all added up into, wow, this is quite an experience because it meant something to you. You know what? We have to go to break.
Let's take a quick break.
So we want to take a quick break, Tim, and then we'll come back and I'm going to ask you again, have you seen a ghost? Because I want to know, again, more stories that have affected you on your journey to creating your movie. Your website, chasingtheshadows.com.
We'll be right back after this.
Hey, Scott L. I just want to thank you for this sweet Ghostly Talk t-shirt, man. When I put it on, women just start coming at me from all directions.
Well, no problem, dude.
Oh, yeah, and check this out. I had this rash on my chest for like 3 months, right? The first time I wore this Ghostly Talk t-shirt for the day, I took it off before bed and the rash was gone.
Really?
Yeah, dude. I also worked at a job interview I had last week, and not only did I get the job, but the boss liked it so much, he made me his partner.
Huh?
Yeah, and I'm now a millionaire because of your Ghostly Talk t-shirts.
Well, you know, we not only have new t-shirts for 2007, but Ghostly Talk also has a brand new line of bumper stickers and 1.25-inch buttons.
You're kidding!
No, sir. You can check them out and also find out how to order them at ghostlytalk.com.
I must go and order all of them now!
Whoa, hold on. Save some for the rest of the listeners. As you can see, Ghostly Talk swag is going fast, so head on over to ghostlytalk.com and check it out. T-shirts, bumper stickers, and 1.25-inch buttons, all for a very cheap price. Order yours today.
Join the three paramigos for some serious discussion of the paranormal.
She wants to know how John prepares himself for what he sees before he goes out on some of these investigations.
I just take my glasses off.
And as usual, some surprising guest.
I was going to contract a view of Rodney Dangerfield. Can you hear me, Rodney?
Hey, what is this place? Where am I? I need to fire my agent. I get no respect.
Some very serious topics will be discussed.
Did you ever share with everybody my nickname for you?
No. Go ahead and tell them.
Tiny.
From the serious to satire, the Three Paramigos radio program, Tuesday nights on the APEC Radio Network, 8 to 10 p.m. Central.
The Three Paramigos are we.
Ghostly Talk with your hosts, Doug and Scott L.
Maybe I should ask that question yet, guys?
What question?
No, not
you know
yet.
The question.
No. Make them wait.
Make them wait?
Make them wait.
Make them wait for the question?
Oh.
It's a good question.
What are your thoughts, Doug?
Timothy, we're doing a... what do they call that? A contest.
Yeah, you heard about it in the first half an hour.
Yeah, so...
I think we'll wait a little bit longer.
All right.
This is Ghostly Talk. I'm Scott L.
I'm Doug.
And I'm Bonnie.
And I'm taking
drinking her water, and we put her right on the spot. That was pretty clever of you, Scott. That was good timing.
It's how I always do it. I try to do that every time. We're talking with Timothy Schultz.
His website is www. Well, I don't know if the www is there, but I know that it's chasingtheshadows.com.
That's right.
Awesome. So, how many books have you read on the paranormal and stuff? Like, who really? Who are your influences? How's that? As if you were a rock band, right? Who are your influences?
Well, as far as books and stuff, I've read some Stephen King. Well, I've read some Stephen King.
Right.
That was a huge. That's the inspiration to the Stanley Hotel, so that's a huge influence. But as far as I've read a book recently. I read a book on the Myrtles Plantation because throughout the research for that place, and I've read a bunch of psychic books and just a lot of stuff in the field.
What'd you get out of that? Because when I read the books about psychics, you two are psychic, or you can have ESP, or here's how to how to put the whammy on someone.
Charm style.
Yeah, I've read these books, and I find the ESP style books. First of all, it is one of my topics. I love everything about extrasensory perception. I just think it's so cool. I grew up reading about. Jane Roberts and Lorraine Warren and all these folks and I was just always interested in ESP and things like that. Well, but for the books, they tend to always be just a little bit foo-foo, I think. It might be the best way to describe it. Just a little bit, like they're teasers.
Well, it could be, they're wanting to... Plus, they're wanting to sell their products, so...
Well, sometimes, yeah. Now, back in the 70s, there weren't... Back in the 70s, there weren't so many products, but there were, it was just so... I don't know. It's hard to describe even for a talk show host. I just can't... I don't know how to describe how lacking some of them are. I mean, you do learn a lot, though. You learn a lot. The auras, the different things you can do and see and stuff like that, and I've been able to see auras now, but I just
really?
Yeah, it's really freaky. But they don't I don't think been able to read someone's mind or
thank God.
Yeah, I know you're filthy thoughts. Oh, That's very violent of you, Bonnie, to think that. No, I just don't. I haven't been able to do that or move anything with my mind, which of course would be really cool to have psychokinesis. But
I've had enough experiences with people that have intuitive abilities that I believe that it's actually possible. And I've actually met all kinds of people in the field, and some of them have been kind of I don't want to say the word kooky, but some of them actually. I'm the type of person where I can't just take something at face value and believe it. I have to experience it for myself. And so some of these psychics, though, what they say is just, when you put two and two together, it just blows me away. I can't believe that, how could somebody know this information without, it's just not possible by a rational explanation to be able to know and have the realization that some of these people have. And, not to mention, I think our government used to, and a lot of governments, or a few anyway, have used psychic spies throughout history.
Yes, they have.
I mean, that tells you something, I think. And
yes, they have. As a matter of fact, we've talked with some. So, remote viewers.
Police departments more police departments nowadays are employing psychics for police work.
Yeah, police departments with psychics. The government with remote viewers. A lot of this stuff has gone on. Now, on the other extreme is things like Camp Chesterfield. I have to say, I had a very enjoyable time at Camp Chesterfield. That's a spiritualist retreat in Indiana, just north of Indianapolis. And we went up there, Bonnie and me and Sean went up there for Easter, as a matter of fact. We attended Easter service at Camp Chesterfield. And it was a little on the showmanship side.
A little?
Okay, a lot. But I thoroughly enjoyed myself regardless. And
I enjoyed the hotel.
Yes, the only comfort inn we've stayed at all year.
The hotel was wonderful.
But the camp was really fun. We got to do that, and that was actually very spontaneous, Timothy, because we didn't know what we planned to do before we went down there. Just sort of, let's go to Camp Chesterfield. Okay, it's Easter, but let's go anyway.
They didn't ask for my vote prior to the decision either.
Yes, we didn't ask Bonnie, and so she lets us know every time. But that's the kind of adventure. That's a kind of adventure, and you obviously have been, because you were telling us, Africa and the birthplace of voodoo, and then Stanley Hotel. Go ahead.
Yeah, and one thing in Africa that with the psychic phenomena, this fetisher, the voodoo priest over there, we brought over a video on this miniature video player of. Well, I should back up and say we were in this private mansion. The same private mansion I was referring to earlier in downtown Denver. Mm-hmm. And there was Christopher Moon's mother, who was also part of his investigative team, had this encounter with the spirit that haunts that place, or supposedly haunts that place. And it was so bad that she had to be taken out of the building. And, she really had a huge reaction where she just was very upset and overcome by the energy of the spirit, and it was bad. And so, but we took this video and showed it to this voodoo priest over there, not telling him anything, and he speaks Fawn, I believe. It's some African dialect that he doesn't understand English, one lick of English. And so we played this video for him over there, and after watching it, he said, it's the spirit of a little girl with long hair, and the men shouldn't have been there, and she was trying to get help from this woman, and she was really upset. But the fact that this guy could tell that just by looking at the iPod, and it was the same thing. Supposedly it is a little girl that haunts that place, and so, there's no way that he could have known that. I don't know.
Wow.
It's pretty fascinating.
Yeah, and he didn't study it on the internet or anything. This was
and when we showed him the video, it was we had a translator there, two translators that went from Fawn to French to English.
Oh my gosh!
So, how he would have known that it was a little girl that was supposedly the energy that was, that made this happen. There's just no way he could have known that. I don't think. It was pretty interesting.
Wow.
I just think there's so much to the mind and so much to what people can perceive that is, our senses are very limited for what we accept in society, when in reality the senses can sense so much more. I mean, that's just my personal opinion, but I respect, anybody. I respect all opinions.
Of course.
Yeah.
How did you? What started it? What was your first? Because people ask us this all the time. For some reason, we go out to these interviews, or we go out to conferences, and people say, "How do you get started?" Even though it's been published all over the place. So
no kidding.
Everybody can
just
look
go to
up
the website. Now.
Any given moment, they can look up how I got started in the paranormal, or what really started me off. But I don't know about you, Timothy. What?
Well, I've always had an interest in the subject, and ever since I was probably around 4 years old or 5 years old, and I remember waking up in the middle of the night, and there was this shadowy figure of a person that walked into my room, and I woke up, and it really scared me. It honestly, sincerely scared the crap out of me, and I was just a little kid, and I didn't understand. And then it walked out of my room, and I was still awake, and I swore up and down that a person had walked in the room. And then later on, my mother came in the room, and she said, no, nobody else is in the house. And, so to me, I was convinced that had to have been, some sort of a spirit or a person or somebody broke in the house, but there were no signs of forced entry or anything like that. So that's, I guess, to answer your question, I've always had an interest in the paranormal and what actually is reality and what, I just think there's so much more, and I think it's the great unknown, because it's one commonality that we all have. I mean, we all pass away. So, but do we really?
Well, right. That's the thing. Well, we do have to. Our bodies do break down after a while and quit.
Like mine.
Mine was about a year ago. But who wrote Decimal? Scott?
That was Mark Kimmel.
Mark Kimmel was an author, but he was a stockbroker or something. He was
a big time business guy,
big time finance, high rolling, the suits with the French cuffs and dress to impress and the presentations. I mean, we're talking way high up, big businessman, right? Had a UFO encounter.
Oh, really?
Quit doing his highfalutin business stuff and went into writing books, fiction books based on an idea of what could be causing these UFO encounters and things, and started a publishing company. I mean, this guy, it completely changed his life, right? We know your life completely changed, right? What do you think would have happened? What would you be doing now? What did you want to be? How old are you now? You're not 21, right?
No, I'm actually, and I hate to say it, but I just turned 30.
Yeah, get with me in 10 years. I don't feel one iota of sympathy, okay? Because I just turned 40. I did have my nervous breakdown in May. Anyway, so what happens is I turned 40 in March, and then I had my nervous breakdown in May. Okay, what do you think you would have been doing at 30? Would you have been, stocking shelves or had a desk job or been, completely tied to the television, watching TV all day, all night after work and that kind of thing, and have like 16 kids? I mean, what was your vision of your life?
Real nice outlook you have there, Doug.
Obviously, I must be a bit tainted. I give people no credit whatsoever. I mean, maybe you would have been an author,
gigolo, something cool.
Yeah, I don't know, gold-plated teeth and everything. I don't know, maybe. But what was your vision? What did you think you'd be doing at 30?
Well, I've always wanted to entertain people, and I've always had big dreams, and I've always wanted to entertain millions of people. And
so you'd have been on like Last Comic Standing. I mean, or would you have been making shows like that?
probably making shows, I'd probably still be doing, if I wasn't doing what I'm doing, well, I don't know. I mean, it's all theoretical, but I would still be doing what I'm doing, I think, just a different, if it wasn't Chasing the Shadows, it would be something else having to do with the paranormal, probably.
And
it's just very interesting to me.
I agree. I think that probably you would have been doing that. What I think what I'm trying to get at is when I was 30, right? I was totally engrossed in. I had other hobbies. I had whole different sets of friends. I was a wild kid. There was so I was at parties. I mean, I was just living it up, and I had a job. I was going to my job. I was doing my thing, but the paranormal wasn't a part of my life when I was 30, other than it was very still interesting to me. But I wasn't doing a whole bunch of stuff until I found on the internet. I found that people go out to cemeteries and they ghost hunt, right? So I have to thank the internet for getting me into my new hobby, my new clique of friends, my new everything is and of course doing ghost
There's really
talk.
a lot out there.
Yeah, and the internet really completely changed my world. But so I don't know what would you have been doing at 30? I imagine you'd be living your day-to-day life and probably involved in projects like Chasing the Shadows, but probably not to the extent of Chasing the Shadows,
Yeah. I mean, I had no idea that this project would go on for as long as it's gone on. It's over 2 years now, and probably by the time it really hits the public, it could be 3. Well, we are going to go to film festivals this coming fall, but it's just turned into something that much bigger than what I had intended, and it's not.
In a good way or a bad way?
Oh, in a good way. It's just what it's done is, I've taken the question of, can I have communication with someone that's deceased? And the question has just evolved, and there's been more questions that keep coming and coming and coming, and I just want to answer them. And it's more of an experiment of, the field is so vast, and there's so many different aspects to it that you could just go on forever. But I do, we are going to finish it up this fall.
What happens after Chasing?
I actually want to write a couple books about lottery winners as well as make other paranormal documentaries. So, I mean, I love what I do. It's so much fun just to meet all these different people, experts, and to go to haunted, places that are supposedly haunted. And yeah, I have had a lot of experiences, so it's a lot of fun. So I'll probably more of the same, except, maybe the concept will change a little bit, but.
What about paranormal conferences?
I'd definitely love to go. I think there's one this fall that's a really big one. I'm not real familiar with it.
That's definitely the how we roll here at Ghostly Talk. We go to a lot of conferences, and there's actually 2 humongous ones coming up. There's 2 huge ones. There's several small ones, right? The 2 huge ones, the 2 most noteworthy ones, are of course UNIVCon. That's in October. UNIVCon's a 4-day event in University Park, Pennsylvania, in October, and of course the other big one is one that's near and dear to our hearts, and that's going to be Mid-South. The Mid-South Paranormal Convention in Louisville, Kentucky.
And when is that?
That is
September 21st through the 23rd.
Wow, Bonnie.
I've been asked about 5 times tonight in the chat room. That's why I know.
And that one's near and dear to our hearts. And by the way, we will be premiering the movie that we were in.
Yeah.
Not quite like Chasing the Shadows. As you might be able to tell, I don't know, from talking to us for this short amount of time, we tend to enjoy humor a little bit. too much. And so this is a mockumentary. This is our own untitled, as of yet untitled, I think.
I'll get with Andy and Tanya about that.
The producers invited us on because it was supposed to be funny, and it indeed turned out to be funny, and we were just actors in it. We didn't write it or anything like that, although a lot of it was ad-libbed. But we it's going to be, it was I think that was a grand experiment in and of itself.
Oh, and so much fun.
And it was a lot of fun. So that we're going to be showing that at Mid-South in Louisville, Kentucky in September.
Oh, very cool.
September, yeah. So those are the two big ones. But if you can make it to UnivCon or Mid-South or any of the ones that we'll be at, I would love to meet you.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it'd be an honor. I'd love to.
I think that would be fantastic. But unfortunately, we're like minutes from the
we're
top of the
right
hour.
up against it, unfortunately.
Totally sucks. So I do want to remind Timothy Schultz, your website is chasingtheshadows.com with no hyphens, no nothing. It's just chasingtheshadows.com.
That's right.
And your trailer's up. I was watching it.
Yeah, check it out.
We should have a new one up within a couple weeks.
That's awesome. That is awesome. And are you going to keep us up to date on your project? And
absolutely.
And the awards that you win?
Well, that would be nice, but yeah.
I know.
I make this thing as good as possible. So.
Yeah, those are very coveted awards because they take competition very seriously at those film festivals. So I can't wait. Even if all you end up doing is showing, it's still a remarkable feat, a remarkable accomplishment to be able to have done Chasing the Shadows. And I know, just talking to you, I know you've learned so much over the past couple of years doing this project that I could ask you questions for hours on end.
Oh yeah, it's just it's been so much fun, and it's definitely changed my views on spirits and the afterlife. And I used to be afraid of ghosts, and now I'm really not for the most part. I'm really, I think that it's more natural, and I don't accept everything that I have, that I'm told. But as soon as you have an experience for yourself, it's pretty hard for somebody to tell you, oh, that wasn't, a spirit or something, when you've actually had an experience for yourself. So I don't know. It's just a lot of fun.
Very well said. Thank you, Timothy.
Hang on the line for 1 second, Timothy. We're just going to go to break here. Don't leave us just yet.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Coming up.
Yes, coming up is Jackie Gardner. So I want you all to turn your internet browsers to...
Garner, Doug.
What did I say?
Gardner.
Oh, I was thinking Philip Gardner. Okay, Jackie,
gotcha.
Jackie with her new last name. No, Jackie Garner. Learn about ghosts.
This is a site that's been around for a long time.
It has.
And
so
it'd be really cool to talk to Jackie.
Learnaboutghosts.com, and we'll be right back with Jackie.
Start making plans now to join us for the paranormal event of 2007.
The Halloween Spooktacular, October 27th at the Haunted Lincoln Theater in Decatur, Illinois.
Hosted by Troy Taylor, author of 50 of the best-known books on haunted history, not to mention the Ghost Hunter's Guidebook.
Meet the rock and roll ghost hunter Keith Age from Sci-Fi Channel's Spooked, and Del Kazmarek, president of the renowned Ghost Research Society.
Join in the discussion with Rosemary Ellen Guiley and psychic detective Ken Berg.
Meet Becky Ray and Laura Moon, host of Darker Side of the Moon Radio, and of course, there's us.
The Ghost Man and Demon Hunter, live from the Ghost Man and Demon Hunter show.
If that's not enough, folks, there's a free tour of the Greenwood Cemetery and a big screen viewing of the 1932 classic movie, The Old Dark House.
There's even a haunted Decatur tour and a late-night hunt of the Lincoln Theater itself, sold on a first-come, first-served basis.
Seating is limited, folks. Make reservations now at www.prairieghost.com/halloween.html or by calling 888-446-7859. Visa, MasterCard, Discover, and American Express accepted.
It's not just spooky.
It's spooktacular!
Disembodied voices on tape that I heard. Disembodied voices on tape. Message from the other side. Message for you. That I heard. Disembodied voices on tape that I heard. Disembodied voices on tape. Message from the other side. Message for you. How many people go in and out each day? How many spirits occupy there? Not so empty space inside my magnetic I heard somebody voices on tape. What do you think? Play it slow. What is that? I don't know. Sounds like start it over again. Play it back. Backwards this time. All we want is to touch what is alive. Give us this opportunity. You're only a ghost inside your magnetic Disembodied voices on tape that I heard. Disembodied voices on tape. What do you think? The answer will be if we ask that
Shadow governments, strange rituals, new world
Shadow
order,
governments,
buried
strange
treasure,
rituals, new
planetary
world
mind
order,
control, military cover-ups, corporate
Shadow
interests,
governments, strange
secret
rituals,
society,
new world order,
Regeneration,
buried treasure, planetary mind control, military
unidentified
cover-ups,
flying
corporate
objects,
interests, secret
presidential
society,
assassination,
unidentified flying objects,
population
presidential
control,
assassination,
ancient rites,
population,
pyramids, Freemasons,
fascists,
Illuminists,
cryptozoology,
fascists,
alchemy,
cryptozoology,
apocalypse,
apocalypse,
the Tsar,
Tsar underground,
out there,
out there, out there,
out there.
out there. It's a strange world.
Visit OutThereRadio.net for more information. You are listening to Ghostly Talk with your hosts, Doug and Scott L.
Ooh, we're running late on that one. Whew. We went out and ran a marathon on our break.
I'm very late, aren't I?
No, it's okay. We're here.
Just sat down. I didn't even
We're here.
have
We're here.
headphones on.
Do you want to... Okay, Jackie... Okay, now I feel like a dummy. We got to warn Jackie. I want to warn you before we even move any further. We do have to... I want to ask this question right now.
You want to ask the question?
We
Okay,
have to-
Jackie, let's explain it to you.
We have to warn Jackie about this.
so that you know what to expect.
Okay.
We're going we'll do the formal intro in a little bit, but I want to say we're going to the Mid-South Paranormal Convention in Louisville, Kentucky, and they have graciously allowed us to give away to listeners, for free an entry, tickets to the convention.
Mm-hmm.
So what we do every week is we ask a question,
a trivia
question, and it's notoriously easy.
Mm-hmm.
The first one was a little more difficult than the
Is
the
it that
last
time?
one.
I think it's going to be that time.
We think it's that time.
And poor Jackie is going to have to eat the brunt of this one.
Yeah, you're going to have to participate a little bit, Jackie, because you're going to be on the phone with.
I'm sorry, we're blindsiding you. I didn't mean to do that.
Our listeners will hear the question, and hopefully somebody's going to know the answer. And then, if they're not already on the line, they'll call area code 605-475-8590.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the recorded operator lady asks for it, you put in conference ID number 555-1081 followed by the pound sign.
Yes.
Then if you know the question, you press 11 to raise your hand. Mm-hmm. That triggers one of the friendly Ghostly Talk operators to throw a rock at Bonnie to get her attention. Bonnie then...
It usually irritates me.
Yes, then Bonnie lets Scott know, and Scott answers the call on the air, and then we see if the listener knows the answer to the question.
So what's going to happen here, Jackie, before we move on here, I'm going to ask this question, all right?
Okay.
So, sorry, we gotta hit you up here just for a second. So I'm going to read this question, all right? Again, like Doug mentioned, when after I'm done reading this question, 605-475-8590. Type in the conference number 555-1081, and then push 11 to raise your hand, and you know the whole process. We've been through that a few times. So here is the question. All right, everybody ready? You guys ready?
I'm ready.
This is a tough one. A creature known as the Mothman is said to have been responsible for a disaster in West Virginia. What type of disaster was it? Okay. A creature known as the Mothman is said to have been responsible for a disaster in West Virginia. What type of disaster was it? All right.
And that's for tickets to the Mid-South Paranormal Conference. Coming up in, when is it? September 21, 22?
21st through the 23rd.
21, 22, 23 of next month.
In the meantime, though, we'll be waiting for a call to come in on that one. We'll be keeping an eye on that. You want to do this one, Doug?
Yes. In the meantime, Jackie Garner is the site owner of LearnAboutGhosts.com and a paranormal investigator in the San Francisco Bay Area. Ooh, I'm going there. November. What is it? October, November. It's like the first full week of November, because there's like a little hangy week there. But then the first full week of November, I'm going out there like on the Wednesday, I think, and I'm staying until Sunday. Anyway, San Francisco Bay Area. As a paranormal investigator, she is known as an empath. So is Deanna Troi on Star Trek, but I'm a geek.
Yeah, you are.
She has been touched by, and been spoken to by ghosts and spirits both. She has also had ghosts share their emotions and their deaths with her. Her goal is to take what she has learned from interacting with ghosts throughout her life and pass on the knowledge to others so that they can learn how ghosts behave and how to interact with them. Website is, again, www.learnaboutghosts.com. And we here at Ghostly Talk are honored to have Jackie Garner on the show. Welcome.
Welcome, Jackie.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, sorry about all the
about that happens there, but
and we're waiting for that call to drop in here. So
part of live radio. Yes.
No, it's not a problem.
You're an investigator in Tell me all about San Francisco Bay Area, because I'm going to be there in just a couple months.
Oh, it's a beautiful place. I'd love to hook up with you when you come out. You're
that would be
welcome to look me up, and I'd love to show you some of the sites. The Bay Area has a number of haunted locations, and I mean you can look them up easily on the internet. But San Francisco has got Alcatraz Island.
We're going there.
Yeah, there you go. That's one of the best places to hit. There's also the Winchester Mystery House, of course, which is another must-see.
I hadn't thought about that. I would love to.
Yeah, it is definitely a place to visit if you're in this area.
Have you been on that tour, Jackie? The Sarah Winchester's house with the weird rooms and.
Yeah, quite a few times. In fact, I actually have a photo that I took inside the house where there were some strange anomalies in the photo.
Wow!
It almost looked like something invisible or partly visible had walked through the photo at the time that I snapped the shot.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really neat. It was exciting to capture it.
But as an empath, do you have an advantage over me? Can you sense when to take a photo and in what direction?
We got a problem here.
Oh, hang on,
we
Jackie.
don't know who raised their hand first.
We'll get back to the
actually
Winchester
I
house in
do.
one sec.
Actually, I do. I can do this.
Uh-oh.
Okay, here we go. Jackie, hang on for 1 second. Okay, we're going to try this.
All
right, we got a caller here from 931 area code. All right. All the other we have multiple callers that raise their hands, so stay on the line, hang tight. We might need you, so don't leave us just yet. Caller from 931. Oh boy.
Let's see what happens.
Hopefully it works. We're waiting for it to work.
It should unmute them, right?
Yeah, I'm waiting for it right now. Caller, are you on the air?
Yes.
Oh, hey.
There you are.
Who are we speaking to?
My name's Paul Browning from the Clarksville Ghost Hunters.
Oh, hey, how you doing, man?
Excellent.
Are you calling?
Were you there last year? You guys were there.
Yeah, I was.
I thought you might have been there because I think I talked to people from Clarksville last year.
Definitely.
So you guys were if you want to go this year, you want to go to Mid-South this year,
or do you want to go?
And you want to go for free.
Definitely.
You don't want to pay for admission to the conference.
What's the answer to this question?
Read the question.
I'll read the
again.
question. All right.
Yeah.
A creature known as the Mothman is said to have been responsible for a disaster in West Virginia. What type of disaster was it?
I believe it was the collapsing of the Silver Bridge.
It indeed was.
Yay! All right, sir. What we're going to do is we have your number. Bonnie, we need a pen here real quick. What we're gonna do is we're gonna jot your number down. We're gonna contact you right after the show, okay? And we're gonna get the pertinent information we need so we can get you on the roster for your free ticket, okay?
Oh, thank you.
No problem at all.
Yeah, because we're putting you on the guest list.
We're putting you on the guest list. You'll be all
Is
set
it one
to
or
go.
two free tickets? What's the?
Well, we'll see how nice he is after the show.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you've got to be nice to Scott.
I'm sorry. What was your name again, sir? I'm sorry.
It's Paul.
Paul. Okay, I can't remember anything anymore.
Paul, the Clarksville Ghost Hunters.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much. Well, like I said, we're going to call you right after the show, and we're going to get the other information we need from you. We don't want to do it on the air, though.
Not a problem.
Thanks a lot, Paul. We appreciate it, man. We'll talk to you later, okay?
All right.
Bye-bye.
We'll see you later.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey, Jackie, are you flustered yet?
No, not at all. I'm totally enjoying myself.
One more quick thing. Okay, other callers who are on the line right now for the tickets. Yeah, we're gonna have to cut it off tonight with that one.
I wish we had more tickets.
Well, we do have more tickets. Actually.
I wish we had more tickets to.
But we've already read the answer. The answer's already come out, so we can't do
done.
it. You're gonna have to wait till next week. We're sorry.
Next week.
You're gonna have to wait till next week. Sorry about that.
Yes. Now, we were talking, Jackie. We're talking about, of course, the Winchester Mystery House, and I asked you, do you have an advantage over me? Because as an empath, right? I get this sense that you might be able to know exactly when and where to point your camera and take a shot. And whereas for me, it's more like snap, 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 snap. Maybe I got something. I don't know. So what did you have? Is it advantageous to be able to sense them? How does that work?
I would say that there is a slight advantage, but probably more of a 50-50 chance than a 100% for sure kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
There are times when I can really sense the presence of a ghost, and I'll tell people. In fact, a good example of it was that I was up in Virginia City, Nevada one time for a conference up there, and during the conference I kept sensing that there was something in the room, and I was just freezing, just icy cold. And I kept saying, I can't get warm, I can't understand this. I finally went up to my room and got a jacket, came back down to the conference. It turned out later on that somebody had been videotaping during the conference and actually captured an apparition moving through the room at about the same time that I was sensing that there was something going on.
Wow. Oh,
I
that's...
wish I had that video, too. I really do. I don't, but it was a really wonderful video to look at.
That is something.
Yeah, so sometimes, not always.
So how, so you investigate, though, right? I mean, you go to these places. I mean, you were at a conference in a haunted location, so you must go to these places. What's the wildest thing? Of course, we have to go for the extremes. We're here at Ghostly Talk, right? So the wildest investigation.
What's the most extreme thing you've ever been through, Jackie?
Ex-ghost hunting.
What's the most extreme? It's extreme. Sorry.
There's been a couple. I was once confronted by a very angry shadow ghost, and that was also in Virginia City. And there was also a ghost in the same place in Virginia City who actually shared his death with me.
Hey, Bonnie.
Yeah?
You better put on our itinerary of places to get to is Virginia City, Nevada.
Definitely.
That list gets longer every day.
It does. When Virginia City, is that where... Okay, there is a photo, a very famous photo. And I'm racking my brain here, okay? This is so I could be completely 100% wrong, okay? But Virginia City does seem to ring a bell. For some reason, in my mixed up crazy brain, I'm identifying Virginia City with a famous photo, and there's a very famous old photo of a smoking ghost. This was in a hotel room. It used to be a saloon kind of thing, the upper floors of a saloon or something like that. And this guy had stayed there, and even though it was closed and you don't go up there anymore. This room is supposed to be notoriously haunted. They brought in some folks, and I'm thinking 70s, okay, 1970s, maybe early 80s. Mm-hmm. They brought some folks up there and said, there's a ghost in here. And so they took a photo, and this was before digital photo. They took a photo, and even though there was no smoking going on, you could see essentially... a cigarette with smoke floating in the air in this photo. And for some reason I'm thinking Virginia City. And I don't know why. Am I completely off base, or is this something you're familiar with or not?
That one I'm not familiar with, actually, and I would love to see a copy of that photo.
I need to dig that out. I need to find that photo and read its results again, because I might be confusing it. I very well easily could be confusing it, because I haven't studied that kind of thing in... that was even before I started doing Ghostly Talk. So we're talking a decade ago or more when I saw and read about this famous photo, and I'm going to have to figure it out, because... I just am connecting it to Virginia City and an old saloon kind of place. I don't know why it's in an upper floor. It's a corner room. Those are things that I remember, but the rest of it, when I remember in feelings and what I was thinking while reading these things, not what not the actual book. Sometimes I have photographic and I can remember the picture. That's not it.
I'm actually trying to find this picture right now, Jackie, and we're not finding it.
It's not coming up immediately, but I can search the internet, Jackie. I'll try and find it, because if it's in Virginia City, I think we're going to have to want to go there no matter what. But
I would highly recommend it.
Where do you go there when you're there? Is it private places or is it public haunts?
No, I actually stay at a hotel there that's in town. Virginia City, as you know, is an old silver mining town from back in the old West days. And it's when you go there, it's like stepping into time. And all the buildings are still the same. A lot of the buildings are over 100 years old. And it is loaded with paranormal activity. There are many, many stories, many places that are haunted. There are mines out there. There is a cemetery that's active. There are hotels that are active. There are even stores where you can go into these tourist trap type stores where the buildings are just so old that they have hauntings that are going on as well. There are also some buildings that are actually closed off because the hauntings are so intense that they've just pretty much given up on the places.
And you mentioned stairways actually a second ago, if I was correct.
I find stairways to be so haunted. Why do stairways?
Well, we've been through that 1,000 times.
Up?
I'm wondering what Jackie thinks. What do you think about stairways, Jackie?
Haunted stairways?
Yeah. How come those show up so much in stories? You know, a lot of the stories are, you know, two lovers are having a squabble at the top of the stairs, and one of them, you know, falls to their deaths or whatever. Of course, then there's the brown lady.
I just typed it up.
Yeah, the brown lady, of course, is descending the staircase.
Probably obviously the most famous piece of spirit photography right there. I mean, it's on a stairway.
And so,
right, and there's one of the two ghosts running up the tulip staircase.
Yeah,
right.
Yep.
So it's just why is there a recurrence of stairways in haunting stories? It's so bizarre.
Well, I think that part of it could be that there could be deaths associated with the stairways, where maybe somebody fell down the stairs and died, or and they could be attached simply to the area that they died in, just like any other haunting where ghosts are attached to the areas where they had passed on. Or it could simply be that that stairway could have been a part of their daily life. If, for example, you're in, say, a haunted hospital, how do we know that the ghost that's haunting the place wasn't a nurse or a doctor that used to make their rounds up and down those stairs all the time, and they're just following the patterns that they followed while we're living?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the thing that we've talked about before on the show here, Jackie, is that stairways are to put it in the right way, they are an area that, when you're walking around in your daily activities, especially for people as big as Doug and I, when you're going up stairways, right, you do exert a little bit more energy. Going down is a different story, but going up the stairs, you do exert a little bit more energy because you're climbing, right? So you're kind of pushing it, like, oh my God, yeah. Especially if it's a big stairway, you're going to break a sweat sometimes. And what we've always kind of thought is that, depending on the materials, especially in England, for example, the rocks and things like that, we've always said, hey, those are psychic-type sponges, and they collect that emotional energy that you're exerting, even in life,
right?
That you're pushing out when you're trying to climb up those stairs, and it seems like it may be more of it's an area where you'd experience more phenomena.
And plus, plus they are, after all, passageways from one level to another. Right. So you're talking metaphorically, it may even represent something. So I think stairways are just very fascinating in that they just keep recurring, and we can make all these theories, but it's a recurring.
You see a lot of them. And that's when you mentioned stairways, I was like, oh boy, here we go again.
So it is a sound theory as far as the stairways absorbing energy, and having the energy there is sort of an energy reserve for ghosts to utilize in order to manifest themselves. It's a very sound theory, and I think it would be worth it to have research that follows that up to see just how valid that could be.
See, we're onto something, Doug.
I hope so. Who do you go ghost hunting with, Jackie?
I usually take along a few friends and anybody who's interested in going. In fact, I just had some friends come in from Utah who came out for vacation here to the Bay Area, and we went to the Winchester Mystery House together.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that
and
is
then
totally awesome.
With other friends. Just anybody who wants to go with me, I usually go with them.
Have you been on the Haunted Hate walking tour?
You got it.
No, actually, I haven't done that one yet, but I am planning on doing that just because I want to go and see that one for myself and just have some fun with that.
Well, maybe we should try waiting until November and go with us, because Tommy Nett's band has promised that there are no hills. No hills, because we were talking to him 2 years ago.
This
or
is
something.
A while ago, yeah.
And he promised that there were no hills, because we said, San Francisco. What I remember or what I know about San Francisco is basically what you see on TV, and what I've seen on TV is the Rice-A-Roni commercials.
Yeah.
And in there, you've got a trolley going what looks like straight uphill, like a 89-degree hill, and I'm like, I do not want to go up and down these hills, right? And he promised that there was absolutely no hills on the Haunted Hate walking tour, and so we've got to see if there is one or not.
We have to test his theory.
We have to test
his statement.
Yeah, we have to test that statement out and see if there's any hills on the Haunted Hate walking tour. And so I called him up and I said, Tommy, I'm thinking of coming to San Francisco, and I have got to go on the Haunted Hate walking tour with you. So so that's one of the things that is definitely on our itinerary.
Okay, I can guarantee you that around Golden Gate Park and in the Haight area, there's a lot of flat land through there.
Oh, thank heavens!
No, forget about the paranormal activity. We just want to make sure Doug is completely comfortable, Jackie. This is very important.
Now, the Haight-Ashbury is a totally different experience in itself, so that's even just that alone is worth going to check out.
Wow! Oh, that's awesome.
I want that ground leveled out before Doug flies out there, though. Jackie, we're depending on you for this, Jackie.
If he has to breathe heavy, we got a problem.
If he breaks even one drop of sweat, California is going to be burning that night. I guarantee you, Jackie.
I'll be too exhausted to do it that night, but the next night, maybe. I don't know. I just
speaking of the Haight area, when you're in that area too, you're close to Golden Gate Park, and there are several different stories of hauntings in Golden Gate Park as well.
I was reading that officers have reported seeing people and then trying to approach them to kick them out or find out what they're doing or whatever, and then they just disappear.
Well, there have been, over the years, transients who have passed away in the park, just from exposure or what have you. And there's also a ghostly story about a police officer who's a ghost who will ticket people.
Oh, I read that too.
They'll get their tickets and they'll go in to pay the ticket, and they'll find out that the ticket's not valid because the officer who wrote the ticket has been dead for a number of years.
Yeah, and that's the greatest news somebody can get.
I read that too. Although, really, if I got a ticket in California, would I really go pay it? Because it's not like I'll be going back. So I don't know.
You heard about me getting my jaywalking ticket in California when I was 16.
Did you ever pay that?
Oh, I paid it right on the spot. I'm like, here, dude. I got money to burn. I'm 16 years old. I know everything. Here, take my money.
Here's
I don't care.
$3. Yeah. We have to take a break.
Yeah, well, I want to continue with you.
I don't want to because I'm having so much fun talking about your area instead of learnaboutghosts.com. I don't know why.
Well, I want to continue about, I'll continue your trip plans with Jackie here.
Yeah.
The break, definitely. I really want to. You guys planning your vacation right here on the... No, that's cool. No, that's... Because, we're learning a lot. There's a lot going on here. So why don't we... this is a short break, actually, too, so it isn't too bad. When we come back, we'll talk... I want to talk about Learn About Ghosts, the website, too.
Let's do that.
This is a famous site.
Yes,
this is one of those sites that's been out there for a while, and that's why I'm like, we got to have Jackie on sometime. So let's take a quick break. On the other side of this, we'll be talking to Jackie Garner some more about Learn About Ghosts.
For more information, visit ghostlytalk.com.
Experience the charm and mystery of the Deep South through ghost stories by attending the highly respected Roswell Ghost Tour. Your experienced guide will lead you on this 2-hour outdoor walking tour through the historic district of Roswell. One of the highlights of the tour is a visit to Founders Cemetery, the burial site of Roswell King, where bodies are buried beneath modern streets and houses. Grand Greek Revival mansions and humble mill workers' apartments are some of the haunted sights you'll see on this mile of easy walking. Check RoswellGhostTour.com for the current schedule. Tours run most Friday and Saturday nights year-round, and private tours may be arranged. Reservations are required. Call 770-649-9922. That's 770-649-9922 for more information. Happy haunting from Roswell Ghost Tours.
to get away. Day and night, I hear them fight. My education paid, no respect, you aren't intact. Invasion once again, bad memories, block my dreams. Instead of the price they pay, I might as well be lost in hell. It's like hell anyway. I wake up screaming.
Are you seeking the darker side of paranormal talk radio? Look no further. Go to live365.com and search the Paranormal Radio Show. Hosted by Tommy Golden. Sponsored by Middle Tennessee Ghost Chasers. And Search the Paranormal Radio Show talks about all things on the dark side of paranormal. So tune in live on Thursdays and Fridays from 8 p.m. until 10 p.m. Central Time Zone.
You are listening to Ghostly Talk with your hosts, Doug and Scott L.
Back in time, thank God.
Yeah, this was a normal return.
Rather dramatic break, though.
Yeah, the break was quite fun.
Quick reminder, actually, if you have any commercials, if you're doing a paranormal show, podcast, whatever it may be nowadays, and you have commercials, like you have a little MP3 or whatever file commercial you have, we're always pushing it. We love to have you put you guys into our rotation for our commercials and stuff like that. As everybody should know who listens to Ghostly Talk, all the stuff we do on here is for independent art, independent media, especially with the paranormal.
Yes.
So if you have a podcast you're doing and you have a little commercial, send it on over. We'd be glad to put it into our rotation. That includes music, too, from bands.
Yeah,
also.
what we do is on our breaks, we play independent music.
Mm-hmm.
And we follow it up and begin it with independent podcasts and commercials. Yeah. Just anything if you're doing a project,
mm-hmm.
And we want to know about it. We want to include you in our breaks.
Yeah, absolutely. In the meantime, though, when you guys are sending all those, when our email box is just getting cluttered with a million commercials now.
Yeah, that'll be nice.
We are still talking to Jackie Garner. Jackie, are you still there with us? Are you still? Please say you didn't leave.
No, I haven't left.
Well, before the break, we were talking about your trip plans with Doug.
Yeah, we're planning a trip out to the Bay Area. Your website is learnaboutghosts.com.
Yes.
And you've had all these experiences, and primarily, though, it seems I'm going to the Bay Area, of course, but Bonnie and I are going to be out there. But you've had all these wonderful experiences in Nevada, in Virginia City, Nevada.
Yes.
What you said a silver mining town, that kind of thing, and now it's like stepping back in time when you go there. Do you think there's a possibility that there's a lot of ghosts that hang out there just because of it being, a former mining town and being pretty creepy anyway? Or do you think, I don't know, that's what I want to know. What do you think about it? Why is it so haunted?
I think that the reason it's haunted is that it was a very popular place in its heyday. And there were a number of deaths that are associated with the town way back in the 1800s, whether there were mining cave-ins or whether there were people who died in other various ways. And I think that there were just so many different deaths that for some reason the ghosts just seem to hang around in Virginia City, and there is a lot of paranormal energy, not necessarily energy created by people, but a lot of paranormal energy there within the town. I'm also what's called a slider or an electric person. I blow out lights all the time. When I go to Virginia City, I'll blow out 6 or 7 street lights in one night.
Wow.
And now, in my neighborhood here around town, here in San Jose, I might blow out a light maybe 2 or 3 times a month. But it's, for some reason, it's amplified in Virginia City, as well as my contacts with the paranormal are also amplified in Virginia City. And I think there it has more to do with the number of ghosts and the amount of paranormal energy within the town itself.
Do you think, here's one of the things that I've been noticing. There do seem to be hot spots, right? I mean, I can figure out why Gettysburg, Pennsylvania is a hot spot. I mean, obviously, 3-day battle, just a catastrophic loss of life. I can figure out why New Orleans would be a hot spot, and that's the voodoo history, the occult is so big down there, vampires, the legends, and it's just so part of. It's on everyone's mind. I mean, it's just part of life there. I have a little bit harder time with Savannah, Georgia, but Savannah, Georgia is supposed to be really, really haunted. But you figure, okay, well, pirates, I guess, I don't know, whatever you would think of Savannah, Georgia, right? Bad doings, that's where Southern business was taken care of, before, Chicago became the business capital.
Terrible.
That was bad.
That was really bad.
Thank you, though.
Right.
It adds to the show.
I'll turn my own mic.
No. So, but then you hear about places that are just by rumor, because I haven't been there, but they're rumored to be just totally incredible. And one such place is Sedona, Arizona.
Yes.
And one of the things said about that place is perhaps it's a portal or a crossing of ley lines or something about Sedona makes it such an incredible, powerful place for healing, for spiritual journeying, for all that kind of stuff. I'm wondering if Virginia City doesn't have a similar thing. Is there a possibility that it's, is there anything around there that would indicate it's on a ley line, or that it has some kind of special connection to the paranormal?
Well, my personal theory, or something that I've wondered over the years, is if it isn't due to the amounts of silver ore. Silver is sort of a legendary metal when it's used in paranormal practices or in Wiccan practices and Wiccan beliefs, and it's supposed to carry supernatural properties. And so I've always wondered if maybe there wasn't something about it that maybe was attractive to the ghosts. But then again, it could just be that Virginia City was another Wild West town. People died violently there. There were a lot of people that migrated there because of the silver rush. And so it's kind of hard to say. It could just be that a lot of people died there in different ways that were violent, and that could have just amounted into a lot of ghostly energy being collected in the area. Now, Bodie is supposed to be the same way. Bodie was supposedly the worst of the western towns as far as lawlessness went, and Bodie is rumored to be extremely haunted. In fact, Bodie is one of two places that I know of where if people remove objects from Bodie as souvenirs, say if somebody finds an old bottle and takes it home, then supposedly these people have severe bad luck to the point where they will actually return the items to the town. They'll mail them back, what have you. I've actually spoken to a park ranger who has a friend who's a park ranger in Bodie, and the guy I spoke to said, I've seen stacks of letters that my friend showed me that were all from people who returned items to Bodie because of the incredible bad luck they had since taking them home from Bodie.
Please beat that into Doug's head, because he has a bad habit. If someone tells him that, he says, oh, well, I'll just take a rock from here and take it home. Or I'll just take a rock from here and take it home.
I've done that.
Haven't you referred to your Ghost Hunter's manual?
I know. Always leave the
you are
leave
so
the
bad.
area
You never know what you're taking home with you, though. You never know what's attached to it. It's the same thing in Hawaii, the black sands of the beach. They say that the sands belong to Pele, the goddess Pele, and there are stories of people, they're on vacation, they're on their honeymoon, they take a little jar and they fill it with sand and take it home as a souvenir, and they also have incredible bad luck. And I've actually heard that the post office in Hawaii actually has a separate section just for people returning bottles and vials of sand back to the islands because of the incredible bad luck that they've had.
Well, I have to say, when we were in Not Decatur, it's the other. Alton, Illinois, right? We took...
I almost killed them for this, too, by the way.
I wasn't here for this one.
We were on this site where, what was it, an old jail or something? I don't remember, but we were on this site, and they were doing construction, so there was all this rock, which will end up being removed. I mean, so it wasn't like we were defacing anything, right? But we did take a little piece of rock from there.
And then what happened?
And then we got pulled over by the police.
Within 5 minutes,
Within
right?
5 minutes. So right after being let go by the police, we drove right back by there and put our rocks back. Yes.
They had no choice. It was either that or I killed them.
It was that or we walked, the entire rest of the night. And we wouldn't be allowed in the hotel room. And there was a whole list of things that were going to happen.
I can't believe you.
Why?
Doug is a bad, bad boy.
Now, we all know about... I'll just relate this really quick. And, Jackie, I'll tell the story of the Iron Maiden poster.
Oh, God.
Remember the Iron Maiden poster?
Yeah.
I
remember it.
We saw this... we were at this place called Savage House. We did research of this place years ago, it seems like now, Jackie. And I was walking around the attic area of the house, and I come across... I mean, there was stuff all over this house, and I'm sorry?
Was the house abandoned?
Pretty much,
yes.
Yeah, it was abandoned like in one night. And it was like they all just said, "Oh my gosh, we're not taking it anymore," and just walked out.
Yeah, the story is that the place was just abandoned. People lived there and they just left. They left all their belongings there, and that was it. So, and one of the things they left was this really cool 1984 era Iron Maiden poster, which I would have loved to have on my wall, right? And I looked at it, I'm like, oh, I got to. And then, but I referred to my Ghost Hunter's manual, Doug. And I said, I cannot take that poster because it's bad. It's bad to take things from.
Well, here's another example, and it could be all in your head, but from that same house, myself and Will took a clown out of there. And within a month, both of us were in very bad car accidents.
Yes.
There you go.
Never know. Although I got to admit, a haunted Iron Maiden poster is like the ultimate ghost hunting collectible.
Is that rock and roll? Exactly. I would be the punkest ghost hunter ever if I had. I mean, John Zaffis would love to get his hands on that for his museum, right? So
this is the Iron Maiden poster from Savage House. Yeah,
exactly.
Oh yeah, I could imagine the fun Eddie would be having with you.
See, and now what makes Jackie even cooler is that she's in the know. She knows what Iron Maiden's all about.
Oh yeah.
You just showed your colors. Thank you, Jackie.
So Brody's the same way. You don't want to take anything from Brody.
So we'll just tie Doug's hands behind his back when we go there.
So Bodie, well, if you're going to learn your lesson, that would be the place to do it. But yeah, Bodie is definitely the place where they tell you, no, don't take anything from Bodie. That is bad, very bad.
Wow.
You will return it, because I've heard stories that the people who take these things from Bodie, they don't experience just little accidents where they trip over a set of stairs. We're talking major car accidents with major injuries, deaths in the family, things like that. Very, very severe consequences.
And I have enough accidents on my own, Doug. I don't need you helping me.
All right. Again,
we all agree on not taking anything from Bodie.
We've learned our lesson.
Yes.
We shouldn't take anything from any haunted site.
You never know, because you never know what kind of a ghost is in that haunted site. You don't know if the ghost tends to be more of a mellow, kind of a quiet kind of a ghost, or if it's someone who is very possessive and jealous who will get upset. And one of the things that people don't realize is that ghosts don't have a physical body that sort of contains the limits to their anger or their emotions. We, as fleshies, for lack of another word, we have physical bodies that sort of limit our anger or our emotions. So you can only become so angry because your body won't take it. Your body will say at a certain point, you can't blow up like that. You might have a stroke. You might have a heart attack. You might do harm to your physical body. Ghosts don't have those limitations. So they can get as angry as they want without having to worry about a physical cap that stops them. And people, as ghost hunters, need to realize this and understand this. That's why it's important not to go in and dare ghosts, not to go in and take things from them, not to go in and really go looking for trouble. Because you can get hurt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, that's what I was going to ask you, actually, Jackie, is, as far as items like this. I mean, you mentioned Gettysburg earlier, Doug, and that's a big rule in Gettysburg. They don't want you taking. I mean, because that's the first thing I think that pops in any tourist head. I'm not talking about people that are into the paranormal. I'm talking about most of the people that come there are tourists, I think. Right. And that's the first thing that pops into a tourist's head is, well, I want to take home a little pebble or a rock from here and Devil's Den or whatever, right?
I wouldn't.
Well, they have. It's a law. You can't take it. They don't want you taking. I mean, if like 1,000 people came there every week and took a rock,
there'd be no rocks left. Yeah,
there'd be tundras. There'd be nothing there, right? So it makes sense. It makes sense. I'm wondering what as far as like a place like Bodie, for example. I'm wondering, like you said, some ghosts are different. Some are more laid back. Some are a little bit more possessive of things that are around them, like that. I mean, I wonder if intention plays into that at all. Where there may be this karmic rule, like we've talked about here on the show before, and Doug, chime in here if you want. If there's intention for something like this. I mean, I don't think anybody in a situation like that really has evil intention. I'm going to take this rock and I'm going to
rule the world,
right? But it's like, I would like to have a souvenir to remind me of this wonderful trip I had here, and I think that's a noble thing, right? But still, these people we've heard these situations like we've talked about where people are having these horrible things happen to them.
Yeah, well, I keep flashing back to, because you talked about the Black Sands in Hawaii. And
Brady Bunch?
Brady Bunch.
Oh, God.
That's the first thing I think
That's the first thing that popped into my head. As if we can't learn the lesson enough, the Brady Bunch had to do a 2-part episode
to ram this into our head.
Yes, is that like the only 2-part Brady Bunch?
I think so.
And they did a 2-part thing. Do not take the tiki statue from the cave or something. I don't know, but it was so freaky.
And we're still waxing intellectual on this. Why? Jackie, why are we talking about this? The Brady Bunch should have taught us this 30 years ago.
Well, because people didn't know then what they know now, but now they know what they know, and they should pay attention to what the Brady Bunch was teaching us back then.
Yes, and of course, it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks, and I'm an old dog, but I definitely learned my lesson with the cop incident in Alton, Illinois. You
had no choice.
And then Bonnie, of course, wouldn't let me back in the truck.
Jackie, can we talk about learning about ghosts for a second? Because this is a site.
I'm so sorry, Jackie.
We really went nuts here for a few minutes here. Sorry about that. Learn about ghosts. This site's been around forever. I've always seen Learn About Ghosts for some reason. It's a site that's, in my opinion, it's one of those sites where you can go there, and it's one of those. It's a fun site. It's a portal type site where you can go and learn all types of stuff. There's a million stories on there. I'm wondering more or less, and this is usually a question that Doug asks, but I got to ask it this time. What inspired you to start this site called Learn About Ghosts?
What inspired me was mostly my own experiences with ghosts. I've been having paranormal experiences since I was about 4 years old, and I've had numerous experiences, not just in Virginia City, but just sort of everywhere I go. And over time, I started doing searches on the internet and looking around for other paranormal sites and other people who were having similar experiences to mine. And what I was finding out there is that there is a whole variety of information and theories and ideas about the paranormal. A lot of them are pretty right on because people obviously have been doing their research and they've been hearing from folks who have written in and said, well, here's my experience. And, I've had that experience too, and then you hear from like 40 or 50 or 100 other people who have had the same experience. Mm-hmm. Well, common sense kind of tells you that maybe there's something really going on there. Mm-hmm. But I've also noticed that there was a lot of, I don't want to use the word misinformation, but maybe that's about the only word that I can really use at this point, where there were too many people out there who were saying, this is my theory, this is what I think, but it almost seemed like they were coming up with concepts where they weren't doing any real research or looking around on the net to see what other people were saying. Mm-hmm. And so I thought what I'd like to do is just start a place where I can collect all this research, put it all together, and present facts to people and say, look, this is the majority of what's going on to other people, and come on in, share your experiences with us. We'll gather it as research, and we'll present it to the rest of the world. And as we present it, hopefully more people will come in and share their experiences with us. And like my motto says, in sharing we learn. And that's what I hope to do, is just to go ahead and teach people what's going on with ghosts, how they interact with us, and why they interact with us.
And really the internet, like pre-internet, everything. I mean, because I remember pre-internet, because I'm old, and we had to actually like go somewhere to visit, and we had to call somebody at long distance rates, right? Instead of this unlimited night and weekend stuff, we had to call somebody at long distance rates to talk, or we had to write a letter. You know, and that involves like going to the post office and getting stamps.
Oh, God.
And then you had to have paper, an envelope, and then a pen or pencil. And you had to craft this letter, and it had to be everything you wanted to say. Because it wasn't like you were going to get a smiley back 1 second later. you had to write it all down all at once, right? And then put it in the mail, and then wait, 4 or 5 days for them to get it, or longer if Canada was on strike. And then because they did that a lot back then.
Oh yeah.
And then so even and then you had to wait for them to craft their response and mail it back to you, which took forever.
Yeah.
And so
pre-internet,
it was kind of difficult to share. But people did it. I mean, they did it slowly. Now, with the internet and learnaboutghosts.com, it's quite a different world, because you can draw these parallels. You can see what the other people are saying, like in near real time, and form an opinion. You dash off an email, and it doesn't have to include everything that you think right at that moment, because it can be incomplete, because they're going to get it. The next time they read their email, they type something up and send it back, and then you do another one, and then another one. It's more like a much faster conversation. So the internet has really allowed for this kind of stuff to happen at breakneck speeds compared to when I was a kid.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, research has definitely developed quite a bit thanks to the internet. We can get responses, like you said, from people in a much faster, more timely manner, and it allows us to put a lot more research together, a lot more of the facts together in a shorter time, and where we can go ahead and present that out to the rest of the community.
And that's what I think the bottom line here with your site, and there are other sites similar in the format too. That it's about sharing. It's about getting these things out there. What I've always found interesting, or what I always told people was, I think we finally come to a time, right in the last couple of years, where a lot of these stories people have, whether it be ghost stories or UFO sightings or abductions or seeing Bigfoot or whatever it may be, these are all things that people are scared to tell people a lot of times.
Right.
Because they're afraid that, okay, woohoo, cuckoo, you're nuts, right? I mean, that's usually what happens, right? But I think we've finally come to a time where, again, we said this before, these stories are a lot less taboo to tell people. People are much more open to that. And that's why it's good to have sites like yours, because people can go there and share these things over and over again. And that's, I love statistics. I'm a statistics junkie when it comes to stuff like that. I love to figure out, just see patterns and things like you do, obviously, Jackie. And that's a good way to see those parallels, like we said.
Right. Well, I've been working through the internet now for, I guess 6-7 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've heard a lot of people's stories that have come in. I've done a lot of research, where I've asked a lot of questions and had responses come in. And so, like you said, I've drawn a lot of parallels. I've come up with a lot of different conclusions and a lot of similarities in people's experiences. And that makes it a lot easier to be able to say, okay, here's what we can present. Here's what we can show you that we've learned about ghosts. And these are facts that we can present. Maybe they're not scientific in the way that scientists would want to present their facts, but they are presentable to our community simply because they're people who are all coming together with a common thread that all points to something that's happening to them that has a very valid explanation, or a very valid, what's the word I'm looking for? Very valid experiences.
Okay.
As far as
one thing I want to ask you too, and this is just a funny observation. When I first heard the term "learn about ghosts," for some reason a children's book popped into my head. And I'm not making fun at all. I'm being serious. You might want to consider this, and this is "Learn About Ghosts." I just thought that it's a nice title for.
I'm actually writing a book called "Learn About Ghosts."
Is it for kids?
No, it's for adults. It has to do with the paranormal community.
Same thing.
And it will coincide with
same thing.
It will coincide with the website. And oddly enough, I am also writing a book geared towards children about ghosts.
That's awesome.
I didn't know any of that.
Well,
I didn't know any of that before. See? proof.
And what was your first experience? What drove Scott into the paranormal? Of course, or not drove, but what how you got into it was indeed that book. By what's his name?
Larry Kettlecamp.
Larry Kettlecamp, a scholastic book.
Haunted Houses
by Larry Kettlecamp, and now, of course,
a classic.
You are a veteran radio talk,
as Jackie can
person. Yeah, a veteran talk radio paranormal show kind of thing guy, and you're doing whatever you can for the paranormal community. And so who knows, Jackie, maybe when 20 years or so down the line, somebody will say, you know what, if I hadn't happened across that book when I was a kid by Jackie Garner,
I would have never got into this stuff.
I wouldn't be, chasing demons today or whatever they're doing. I don't know. I just made that part up. I don't know what they're doing.
Jackie, we are right up against 9 o'clock, unfortunately, but got to say thank you so much for coming on the show. I hope you enjoyed yourself.
I really did. It's been a pleasure talking with all of you. Let me know when you're coming out to the Bay Area.
I'm emailing you. I rarely email, but I'm going to email you.
Yeah, well, next time you come on the show, we can make more plans.
Yeah.
That's fine with me.
We'll have to do it the week before I leave. Your website is learnaboutghosts.com. Thank you, Jackie. Stay on the line.
Yeah, don't leave us yet.
Stay on the line. Okay. I'd like to thank Timothy Schultz of ChasingTheShadows.com.
Oh, yeah.
Dr. Rita Louise of SoulHealer.com.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, the
Topher
and
Ryan Buell
from univcon.org, univcon.org, getting us excited about the UnivCon in University Park, Pennsylvania.
To that. Oh, yeah.
Don't forget to visit TimYancey.com, TimYancy.com. He's bringing back Encounters on the radio in Florida,
God,
in
I
Eastern
can't wait for
Florida. And
you talk about old school, man.
So you write down on your calendars September 2nd. That is the inaugural show. That is the premiere show. And so I'm very, very excited about that.
And make sure you tune in Wednesday.
Oh, yeah, I was just going to say that, too.
Special show this
Lorraine
Wednesday.
Warren, this Wednesday, August 22nd, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. We're going to be jamming with Lorraine Warren, which should be a hoot, because Lorraine is always a hoot. She's fun.
So I want to thank all the guests. I want to thank all the listeners. Thank you for listening to Ghostly Talk, for downloading us to your iPods, for listening live, or for calling into the live caller line where you can
Congratulations
listen
to Paul
to the
for
show.
winning
Yes,
tickets.
Paul.
And congrats, Paul, of the Clarksville Ghost Hunters. Until this Wednesday, and then, of course, our regularly scheduled time next week. This has been Ghostly Talk. I've been Doug.
I have been Scott L.
And I'm still Bonnie.
Bye.
I need to go someplace where a man can think.
Only the corrupt I listen to now.
I need to go someplace where a man can think.
We demand fair and more accurate, balanced news coverage. Real people with real lives in your dramas and on your talk shows. And if we don't get it, we'll make it ourselves. Don't hate the media, become the media.
I need to go someplace where a man can think. Think. Ghostly Talk. Think.
The time has come for each and every one of you to decide whether you are going to be the problem or whether you are going to be the solution.
Don't hate the media, become the media.